Good morning, nerds. Welcome to the Slitherine Next event. Today's stream is sponsored by Slitherine, the same folks who are making Broken Arrow, as well as a few other games we enjoyed this year, including the awesome debut of Starship Troopers, and also a lot of new stuff for that, and a few other new games coming out too, including there's actually like a chariot race simulator that's coming out, which is kind of cool because there's a ton of gladiator games out there. But not too many of actual chariot races, which were popular in Rome. There's quite a few gladiator games, but this is the first time we're doing like some good old-fashioned drag strip racing chariots. Seems interesting. We saw it before at their previous event, but today they're going to cover a few other things, including Warhammer 40k games, and then Distant World 2, which we saw also, and I'm interested to see what that game's going to be about. Then later they're going to show a game called Headquarters World War II, which I think you actually build and operate your very own headquarters and like do military operations from there. So I'm curious about that one, since builder game, Fields of Glory, which we've seen before on the channel, and Chariots, and then Broken Arrow after that. So it's going to be a big day of cool new strategy games. These are also the same folks who are working on that modern submarine game. I think it's called like, it's got such a simple name, I always forget it. It's like Modern Naval Warfare or something like that. Something rather simple. And then also they're working on the Terminator strategy game, which looks like World in Conflict meets Terminator, which is sweet because I love the World in Conflict, and I don't think we've ever gotten a Terminator game before that's a strategy game, so that'll be interesting. It also looks a little bit like Company Heroes, so that's cool. But anyway, good morning, folks. Good to see you all here. Festivities will start in about 13 minutes, and they already had a pre-show for I think it's, what was the name of that game? It was one I heard before. Master of Magic, yeah. Heroes of Might and Magic, but that's something different. But yeah, lots of cool strategy games coming from this dev, and more stuff coming for Starship Troopers too, so that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, we'll kick it off with that. Boy, Warhammer this year has gotten a crazy amount of love. Like, I know Warhammer is popular and gets tons of games all the time, but damn. I don't think I've ever seen Warhammer in the last 2 years get... I mean, it's just like almost every other day there's a new release. I mean, there was Darktide and Battle Sector and Damon Gate, and then there was DLCs for that and like updates and new releases. And it's like, my God, if you're a Warhammer fan, yeah, Space Marine 2 is like around the corner, and kind of like new stuff's getting announced and dropped. If you're a Warhammer 40k fan, I mean... wow, like that's a ton of stuff. It's really cool to see that Warhammer is not being done by just one dev either. Everybody gets a chance, and it's all very different, which is pretty cool. So it's nice to see all sorts of different devs and publishers working along with Warhammer, because it's quite cool. Like, there's a lot of lore there, a lot of stuff to unpack, and a lot of different game types too. Like, first-person shooters work for Warhammer, and RTSs work, and turn-based games work. It's cool. Like, if you're a fan of all that stuff, or just one, like, there's something for you, and there's tons of stuff for you too, because there's multiple games within that genre, or within that property, or whatever you want to call it, IP, whatever. Pretty cool. Well, good morning, chat. Yeah, I see so many of you here. Welcome. Did I say Master of Magic? I did. Just before the start of this countdown, they had like a little pre-roll thing that they just dropped for everybody to watch. The stream officially doesn't start until few minutes from now, but it's all good. Oh, Keel, yeah. Yeah, if you guys have suggestions or requests, DM me on the Discord. Seriously, the link is down below. Just send me a Steam store page link to anything you think I should check out. Yeah, Slitherine's been busy. I was really hoping this year that we would see more of that Terminator game, and maybe they'll have a special event planned for that one. But I really like that Terminator's getting some more love, and that Starship Troopers got some more love, and their Starship Trooper game was pretty good. There were a few things around it that I wish were different or whatnot, but it still was a solid RTS that I still want to see much more content for. It was good, had interesting missions, interesting units, but I wanted to see more of it. That's usually my biggest complaint about games, if anything, is that it was just, not that it was short, but I wanted more side things. I'm okay with for a game that might have missions where they're like linear, it's not like an open world or whatnot. If they have missions, I'm cool with like a medium to short main campaign. Oh, it looks like they're playing ads too. I'm cool with a medium or short campaign, and then, thanks YouTube. Wow, look at this. Even YouTube's throttling their stream and making it lower quality. Anyway, yeah, don't mind a short campaign so long as there's other things to do. I think that's what made Command and Conquer Generals and other games like that fun, and Company of Heroes, is that sometimes, Company of Heroes wasn't short by any means, but there was so much to do where they went from like the American perspective, then the British perspective, then the German perspective, and then like sub units within those different battles, like American paratroopers, and then British Battle of the Bulge, or German perspective of that, not the Battle of the Bulge, but Market Garden, that kind of thing. Like, it's pretty amazing that they made so much. World War II is like an endless library of content for where games and different types could be made. But that's what made those games good too, is that they weren't very long when they would add new DLCs and stuff. They were well polished, and like maybe they were like 6 missions, maybe 3. I love that. We need a CNC successor. Yeah, I played a game called Crossfire Legion recently. I liked the missions that I saw for that so far, and it was kind of cool. It felt like a modern drone thing, but the thing about any sort of CNC is that EA is just going to ruin it with microtransactions, trying to make it an e-sport. Like, if they just focused on making a good game, people would buy the hell out of it. That's why that Fallen Order game was so good. They made a single-player, story-driven Star Wars experience, and it was great. I really enjoyed that game. Really cool. Broken Arrow is a new Cold War RTS, right? It's modern, but there are a lot of things from the Cold War in it. In fact, when I first saw it, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is a Cold War game. But then as more vehicles were dropped, then I found out it was more modern than we thought. I'm not sure what years or time frames they're going for, but oftentimes in these RTS games, they pick a year, but then they kind of justify balancing by picking a little bit of tech in the future, just to try to give a little bit more. It's just saying like, these were prototypes, but because of the war, they were like, they were brought to service because, it's just for balancing. But that's their story behind it. It's like, war started, so they activated prototypes as main battle tank or something. Rotten Reich. I don't know if that's from the same publisher. I don't know who's publishing that. I'd forgotten. I've seen a lot of the game, but a little demo, but I haven't seen those details. Active Aggression is an adjacent CNC replacement. Yeah, they tried. I like that, the base building in that. Global conflagration, yeah. Yeah, I've covered a lot of those RTSs. They're always good, and they're always promising to be like a fun experience, but I don't know. They're never they don't hit as hard as the cheesy full motion video of Red Alert 2, where a pretty lady would come out with a sniper rifle 8 times the size of her and would just say, Comrade General, we need to destroy the Allies' barracks. And it's like, okay. It's always so funny when the mini-map would turn into just some pretty lady and she'd come out and just tell you, like, what the next objective was. It was dumb and cheesy, but I think we liked it. It almost felt like playing it was a little bit like Escape from New York or something like that. It was like a little... Felt a little weird and cheap. It was great. Yeah, but we loved it. Yep. Yeah, the cheesiness was totally acceptable and expected. Like if they, I guess they kind of dropped a little bit of that in Command and Conquer Generals, but it still felt like it was there. Haters gonna hate, but I loved Yuri's Revenge. Yuri's Revenge was great because Yuri always felt so overpowered. we'd always let new players play as Yuri. And even by teaching them a few things about how to play Yuri, they would just become overpowered. It was always fun to team up against. Seriously, like 2 pros could fight a noob who was Yuri, and he would put up a fight. It was great. You never really played an RTS except for Dawn of War. Oh, that's a good one. Be interesting if Slitherine ever got the rights to some of these older RTSs. Like, you know, it'd be really cool. I could imagine it where like some smaller publisher or developer gets the rights to like Rise of Nations and just redoes that. Because with the, you know, we got Age of Empires 4 that came out recently. Then they announced that we were getting a new Age of Mythology, which I forget what they call it. Age of Mythology Retold or something like that. Like doing a remake of that. But I'm totally open to all these old RTSs getting like another one. I'll totally buy it and enjoy it. Just because it'll just remind me of the original. Totally fine with that. Also, Slitherine, now that I remember it, is making a... they're making a game that's kind of like Desperados or like the Commando series, but for Stargate. It's the type of game where, like, you know, it's like Commandos, where enemy patrols will be walking around the map and you go hide in the bushes and wait till somebody passes and then knock them out, drag them into the bush. And I don't know what you kind of call that game. Is that like a... I'd call it a real-time tactical strategy game, because it's not like you're not commanding an army, but it does it's not turn-based. Like, you can play it in real time. But I played Desperados 3 and Commandos, you know, in the last couple of years, and I thought those games were cool. So to see more franchises getting a thing where you command just like 6 or 7 characters or whatever and get to choose who you go into battle with is cool. An RTS stalker game? That'd be interesting. Oh. Be cool if Slitherine got rights to some sort of a Star Wars thing. Was able to do an RTS, that'd be interesting. You want a Mech Commander 3? Well, they announced that new Armored Core game. People who made Elden Ring are now remaking Armored Core, making another one. And that was like From Software is like one of their first games I played on PlayStation long time ago. Armored Core was sweet. I think we got access to a demo and played the hell out of it. So mechs are cool, but if they do it in like a gritty, realistic way, that's really neat. I think that's why I'm excited about that Terminator game too, because I want that to have some sort of a... I want it to feel desperate. Like cities and the earth are destroyed, so it'd be interesting to see that. Battletech is cool. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of games that I would play that I just haven't had the time to play or go through yet, unfortunately. But I thought Battletech was... I did see a bit of that, and I thought that was pretty sweet. Like you guys, sometimes I have to, like, after we're done with the streams and when I'm editing videos and answering emails and doing stuff in the PM, I usually go watch some other streamers play games that I just didn't have time for or didn't know about. You guys do a good job of telling me about games that you want me to play as well. So again, DM me on the Discord, because there's some really good games that I want to play that you just might not have the time for. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so it looks like the first thing they're going to go into is we'll have a little intro here, and then they might announce some new Warhammer 40k games. So given how sweet the 40k games have been recently, I'm pretty excited about that. There's potential there for something cool. Star Citizen? I played Star Citizen quite a bit. That game's cool, and a game like that needs to exist, but that game needs to step the hell up. Like, You guys got all this time, money, and resources now.
And we're live.
Come on.
We're super live. Now, 45 minutes of Master of Magic that has just been released. So if you, in the meantime, whilst you watch this, you can go and download the game and start playing it when it's been downloaded. We are here in a new studio. So if you want to check, you've just checked the other one. You'll find some familiar things in this studio where we're sitting here with my friend Julia. Right, so Julia,
Hi.
here she is. Well, Julia, we have to do one thing before we start.
Yes,
actually,
we must do.
Let me do one thing. Sorry.
Chad, do you remember the first time they did one of these live events? They had that fireplace.
Why? Because this is the first outing of our new studio. This is a studio that we have been working on for, I think, the last 5 months. So whenever you were asking, where is Tea Time, where is Newsroom, and all your shows, this is what we were preparing. We were preparing a new studio here in the new office. We'll show you the new office very soon. So we're very excited about all this. We're very excited about the new formats we're going to bring to you. We're very excited about how things are going to develop under this, in this settings.
Yes.
There's a lot of opportunities, and these sofas, these little chairs, are actually the only thing that's left from the last studio.
Yes, they're just a memory. But we have also changed the name for this huge event. This Slitherine Next.
Yes, we are calling this event Slitherine Next. Why? Well, for two reasons, really. One main reason is, of course, that the previous events were called Home of Wargamers, and it started to be a kind of an unfitting name for the types of products that we were showing. Home of Wargamers has always been a good name for anything related to wargames, so to Matrix and to what's related to Matrix. Slitherine is, of course, a different thing. We as Slitherine launch a different type of product. So we have wanted to sort of embrace a wider number of strategy products, and that's why we changed the name to Slitherine Next. Also because, we wanted to brand the event with our company name, which is, we don't use it that much. So we wanted to start using it a bit more.
Yes, because it's a beautiful name.
It is a beautiful name, and we want to use it. We want to use it as much as we can.
And today we are ready to show you many things.
So basically, what's going to happen? We're going to show you like a little intro, and then we're going to come back here and show the agenda.
Oh my God!
And
game footage.
We'll also launch some new games during the live, so it will be a great live to follow. So stay with us. And I take the chance to ask you to follow us also on our social media channels, because we will keep you updated.
Yeah, so, ready for launching it?
We are ready for launch the intro, so 3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, I'm disappearing. Uh-oh. All right. Uh-oh. Too much green.
And back again.
Yeah, we're live. We're officially. This is officially Slitherine Next now.
Yes, we are in Slitherine Next after many months of preparation. We are so happy to be here.
So much green.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you everything that went wrong before we actually launched it today. No, I can't. I would take like probably over 2 hours to to tell
it
you.
would be too long.
It would be too long. So, Julia, this is an area that in the next few hours we're going to call Tea Room.
Yes, this is the tea room.
Because this is where also we're going to broadcast Tea Time in the future.
Yes.
And also it's close to the other set where you're going to do Newsroom.
Yes, it's like a mixture of Newsroom and Tea Time, and it's great.
These two formats are going to be back live in the new year, of course. Just after we just go on a break, and then we're going to be back here. Everything's supposedly working, so we should be fine to go back to our normal lives. What is it that we're expecting for today?
we are expecting many things. First of all, we will have other 2 releases today. As you can see, we will have Warhammer 40,000 games, and we will launch Sister of Battle for Battle Sector and Adepta Sororitas for Gladius. Then we will
new
have
games for
Starship
40K.
Troopers Terran Command. We will show you something great also here, and be ready because you will be really excited to know more about the future of this great game. Then Distant Wars 2. Then Headquarters World War II.
I want to see this one.
You heard about this game last year.
I don't know what the
so
hell
you
this is
will
going to be.
Really happy to see the developments made on this game during this year.
I think it's a turn-based game, but I don't even remember.
Field of Glory Kingdoms, then Ancient Arena Chariots, and then I know that you guys were waiting for it. Broken Arrow, finally, we will talk about it. And then we will end our broadcast at around 7 p.m. GMT. So many things to do.
That could be a whole 40 minutes of new stuff for Broken Arrow, which could be a lot.
We are. I have to say one thing though.
Why does it last? To get you to watch the whole thing?
And most important stuff you'll see today.
Because that's the biggest hyped one.
David Sherrock's jumper. That's the most impressive piece of furniture we brought directly from Epsom.
Yes.
We were supposed to have 4 people coming from Epsom, so I'm saying a special thank you for staying 24 hours in an airport to Mark, Neil, and Annie. And not making it, whilst David stayed probably half an hour and made it to Milan. So we are going to be ready to leave the mic to Alberto and David on the main stage.
Going live to the main stage.
So I'm here with David and his jumper.
Thank you, Alberto. I'm pleased to be here, unlike anyone else from Epsom.
All right, so as Julia was saying, today is a Sister of Battle Day. Who are the Sisters of Battle?
So yes, it's Warhammer 40k Sisters of Battle Day. So Sisters of Battle have been around Warhammer 40k for a long time, but recently they got a kind of a full faction treatment from Games Workshop. They're kind of an elite sisterhood raised from birth to serve their god emperor, and they're as zealous and fanatical as you might expect someone to be. They're elite troops. They run around wearing like Space Marine armor despite not being Space Marines. They wield bolters despite not being Space Marines. They are bad girls and have come to fight.
Sounds very appropriate for the Imperium.
Yes, very much so.
Right, so today the Sisters of Battle are being added as a playable faction to both Warhammer 40k Battle Sector and Warhammer 40k Gladius.
Oh, new faction.
Let's start with Gladius. So before I ask you to elaborate a bit more on the faction,
gameplay.
We have a trailer.
Trailer. Here we go.
That will introduce you to the new faction in Battle Sector. So here we go. Let's watch the first trailer.
There we go. Hell yeah.
Deep in the purest and most holy of imperial.
Also, this is going to be a little pixelated, but that's on YouTube. I was watching some other streams today.
For the task ahead.
They're downgrading their live
warriors,
stuff.
They step forth from the confines of their churches to
So I
do
apologize.
His will. No lesser for the time spent to the task of ridding the galaxy.
Damn, that
of
is
the
a
alien,
massive-
the mutant, and the heretic. Warhammer 40,000 Battle Sector is expanding its epic turn-based action with the Adepta Sororitas DLC. Included in the DLC are 15 new, exquisitely crafted units with lore-accurate models. directly
look at that.
inspired
Tanks.
by the official tabletop models.
Hell yeah,
the
brother.
units also come with their own special abilities and war gear, and are primed and ready for battle in skirmish, multiplayer, planetary supremacy, and the new demonic incursion mode. The Sisters of Battle bring a whole new dimension to the battle for Baal, as damage charges special abilities, damage resistance, and HQ powers. Combined with potent healing options, especially tough units designed to soak up damage, and the ability to shield more fragile units, the Sisters of Battle have a unique and interesting synergy, unlike that of any other faction.
Yeah, I see a lot of flames. Them sisters are hot.
Cooking.
Before
Burn
we
that
get
fire.
deeper into the faction, well, we can see the chat, but I can imagine there are quite a few questions about your jumper. Where did you get it?
It's Christmas. You keep inviting me here in Christmas. Last time I had to stay in Milan and wear a Necron jumper.
Yeah.
This time, the wonderful people at Games Workshop and Merchoid were so inspired to send me this. So who am I to say no?
Unfortunately, people can see it in the camera, but there are a lot of tiny wormerish skulls below the sister battle symbol.
Oh,
Wonderful.
cute.
I will wear it every day to Christmas.
All right, so I believe that our community manager can post the link to the store if you want to get this same jumper.
Oh, you can buy that?
Orders, yes.
Yes. Well, anyway,
Wow.
what can you tell us about the Adepta Sororitas, also known as Sisters of Battle, in Battle Sector?
So in Battle Sector, they're kind of sent in to be the mirror to the Blood Angels. So the Blood Angels is all about going out there, attacking you, punching in the face, getting very angry about things. Sisters are about taking those hits and getting very zealous about things. So they'll take hits, they'll get more evasive and get harder to hit as they take hits. So if you don't get them down quickly, they keep coming back and keep coming back hard. A lot of their skills are based around inspiring their fellow sisters. They might get more hits than you expect.
Flamethrowers are the trademark of the Battle Sisters? Oh, well, they seem to
Rhino
got
is
that.
the first actual dedicated transport unit that we've seen in Battle Sector, so a real mobility powerhouse. They can bring the pain from all sorts of angles.
Speaking of units, many months ago we had added 3 sister battle units originally. We decided to expand these units with more, well, you know, in a brand, in a complete playable faction. We do have 2 trailers to show you to get deeper into some of the cool new units coming with the DLC. So let's have a look at the first one.
More trailers.
The Sisters of Battle on Baal call for aid, and who better to lead them but the mighty Canoness, a veteran warrior of countless battles, yet also a pious leader with an unmatched sense of faith. The Canoness's mere presence boosts the morale of nearby sisters. Her
Damn.
words of contempt ring in the enemy's ears, shattering their confidence. Ready to give their lives to protect her, Celestian sacrosancts have sworn an oath to defend their sisters. Their mighty sacrosanct shields turns aside ranged fire as surely as it turns aside a blade, with each hit only increasing their resolve to defend the line. Returning the enemy's hate in kind, the deadly exorcist fires massive volleys of deadly missiles. The artillerist plays to soothe and invigorate the mighty machine spirit with potent worship that seemingly guides missiles to weak points and critical areas. When the time comes to strike, the Paragon warsuit wades into the enemy lines. A warsuit as weighty as any tank, there is nothing it cannot carve with the blessed Paragon warblade. Yet such a mighty weapon may be wasted on hordes of the unworthy. The Paragon grenade launcher is the answer, enabling the Paragon to lay waste to such hordes with ease.
Missiles. Yeah, this is a 40K game. Called Battle Sector. The Battle Sector game's been out for a while, but they're announcing the Sisters of Battle
I really like
edition.
the work that Black Lab Games has put into these models. They
Which is
really
cool.
look amazing. There are some amazing screenshots that you can find on the store page, and they really did a great job. I think, well, I'm a bit biased, but I think I think they're the best Warhammer 40K models ever made for a computer game, to be honest. But yeah, shall we move on to the second trailer?
Yep.
A sister's duty is foremost to the Emperor, but also to his subjects. No sister understands this better than the hospital.
Oh,
Her
sister.
presence is a welcome sight as she tends to the sick and injured, returning them to battle to continue to fight in his name. The Adapter Sororitas is an order of mercy, and those that sin may atone for their crimes as an arco-flagellant. Armed with arco flails and with a potent mixture of combat stimulants flowing through their veins, they tear the enemies of the Imperium asunder in an incomprehensibly violent melee frenzy. Should a sister commit sin, she may be offered the chance to take the Oath of Repentia. Her war gear, rank, and honor stripped from her, she may seek atonement only through the deaths of his enemies. Each granted a penitent inviscerator, they make devastating, fearless charges
Chainsaws.
into the enemy. Not all those who sin are worthy of forgiveness. For those
Chainsaw
whom justice
sword.
must be
Wow.
given swiftly, the pure flame of an immolator will more than suffice. Its blessed twin flamers cleanse the battlefield, while protecting a squad of sisters inside its thick, ornately armored hull.
Oh, there's your transport. Oh, that's available today.
Well,
Yep.
so Personally speaking, I really like the new vehicles.
Yeah, me too.
Most of all, I was wondering what is your favorite unit from the DLC?
It's a choice, really. The Exorcist
I like the missile launcher.
is just a whole
I like the
new
missile
realm
launcher.
of hurt. But personally, the Canoness, she is a HQ that gets in there, mixes it up, brings everybody with her, and importantly, if she gets sniped, everyone else gets better because they get quite angry about it. So what more could you want?
Makes sense? All right, so this is the new DLC, but there is an update going up along the DLC.
Yep.
And it adds, of course, the demonic incursion mode. What can you tell us about it?
Yes, so later on today, in a couple of hours' time,
game
the
mode.
release will go out, and as a kind of a free update, you'll be able to play a whole new game mode with any of your factions that you own, so either Blood Angels, Tyranids, Necrons, or Sisters of Battle, where you can choose to take on innumerable hordes of the Demons of Khorne. It's basically a survival wave-based game mode, so you're basically going in there with whatever army you choose. You can take a small army, a small kill team, or you can take a 3,000 point horde of tanks. It's up to you. The simple job is to survive. How long can you last against innumerable waves of Khornite demons? If you've got bloodletters, and you've seen whole new things we've added of things like skull cannons and all these kind of things, all coming at you from every direction. And you'll get reinforcements, but will they be enough?
Well, I'm seeing something new on the screen because that wasn't in the game.
No, you've obviously picked the skull cannon, the throwhand, and the bloodletters at the beginning, but right in the background there is our wonderful bloodthirster, who doesn't turn up straight at the beginning, but when he does turn up, you're in for a world of pain.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. All right, so we can't wait to see what you guys think about this new update, as well as the
That's some
Sisters of
sweet
Battle
looking
DLC
art.
in Battle Sector. Shall we move on and talk about Gladius a bit?
Yeah, sure.
All right,
Yeah.
so Gladius is also getting a new DLC, and they're also getting the Adepta Sororitas as a playable faction. For anyone who is familiar with Gladius, each faction comes with their own unique units, tech tree, set of buildings, unique quest lines and heroes, and of course, unique gameplay mechanics.
Yep.
But what can you tell us about the Sisters of Battle, and what kind of new features do they bring to the table? Because Gladius has been around for a few years, and there are already quite a few playable factions. So how are the Sisters of Battle or Adepta Sororitas different compared to the other playable factions?
Well,
Fire.
I said they are the Sisters of Battle. They are built
Lots of fire.
around faith. But like I said, Gladius is a 4x, and their mechanics are kind of on that 4x scale. Of each unit can perform small acts of faith, which then, if buffed with their kind of support units, can perform bigger acts of faith. They have a wonderful quest line about obviously suppressing heresy. Gladius is very much their sort of town. It's what they were very much brought here to do. And of course, when they start rolling out tanks and also knight lancers and strike fighters, they really can bring a whole world of hurt.
That sounds great. I'm looking forward to playing them. So before we finish the presentation for Battle Sector and Gladius, we wanted to show you the new faction, the new intro video for the Adepta Sororitas in Gladius. So here we go.
Oh.
Life is worthless without faith. Faith in the God Emperor. Faith that he will save mankind. The Adeptus Sororitas are the guardians of that faith. These people were our people. And when the world was lost, when the cities fell, we defended them from the Xenos, the heretics. But soon we stood against the dark, alone. Others would have lost hope, but not the Adeptus Sororitas. And finally, our faith was rewarded with the blessed Celestine at our head. We will save these people for the God Emperor!
Yeah, YouTube's lowering the quality
So
for them
these
on
are
this.
the
I don't know why.
battle in battle
Audio
sector
issues and
and
compression.
Gladius.
But this is what they're doing.
Alright,
This is
so
the new theme
thanks so
for
much,
live
David,
streams.
and I hope it was really nice.
They want you watching
Yeah,
shorts.
everyone, if they're available later today, please hope people enjoy playing them.
Thank you so much. All right, so shall we move on and talk about Starship Troopers?
Oh.
We released the game roughly 6 months ago.
Here we go.
I believe it was June 16. It's been a really successful release for Slitherine. To be honest, it's been the best, the best release that Slitherine ever had.
Good.
It was such a pleasure and honor for us to really pay our respects to a wonderful franchise such as Starship Troopers. So I have a special guest with me here today.
It's me.
It's Lucas Neisten, creative director of the Artistocrats, developers of Starship Troopers Star Command. Hello, Lucas.
Hello.
Oh, is that the music guy?
Thanks for
Welcome.
inviting me.
Oh, wait a minute. That guy wore the armor last year. Well, I'm just refreshing to see if I can get it to.
About the release of Starship Trooper and the path so far.
Well, obviously, we're very happy about the reception of the game. So the success of the game has allowed us
Last year,
to
this
grow
guy
our
was
team,
wearing armor.
and it will allow us to keep supporting and expanding the game.
Yeah, he's
which is
badass.
something we have a lot of ambitions to keep doing that. And realizing that there is a community that will support us in doing this is obviously a very good feeling.
Nice. All right, so back in September, a couple of months after the release, we published a roadmap which listed what we were planning to add in Starship Troopers during the first year of development. It's been a successful ride so far. Back in October, we released the first milestone of this roadmap, which was called the Chemical Reaction Update.
Oh, yeah.
What can you tell us about
I
it?
showed those
what
missions
were
off
your
on the
goals
channel.
for
Those were
adding
cool.
these new scenarios and this new unit?
Yeah, so we decided to release this update primarily because we wanted to show to the community that we wanted to keep supporting the game. So it was a means for us to release content for free that added to the game. And we ended up releasing 3 scenarios basically, and they're all based around a new unit type, which is called the Chemical Troopers. And another reason for doing this was because we wanted to do some experimental features basically in the game, and we used this as a means to see what the response from the community was. So, for example, all the chemical scenarios have a local high score system, which means that you can replay the scenarios and beat your own score basically. And in addition, we have one scenario that is really experimental. So we have you can get a resource there by killing arachnids, and you can then use that resource to buy new units or unlock more areas on the map or get more war supports. And it's been very interesting to get feedback from players on
played that
mechanics
mission
like these, because we're always looking for player feedback and how to basically do more with the game.
That sounds great. What I really like to see, was community members sharing their own high scores on Discord and on the forum and on Steam, and it was really good to see them competing and comparing their own high scores. So that's the type of community content that can really help foster a thriving community, which is very important, I think, for an RTS.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of community content, there was another big milestone in the roadmap. I'm talking, of course, of the scenario editor. That's been in open beta for a while.
Scenario
months,
editor.
Right? Yeah.
Correct.
How
Modded
has the feedback been
missions?
so far, and what do you think of the scenarios that people are making?
What?
Yeah, so we are very happy with what's happening with the scenario.
I got to go
editor.
to the Steam
There's
store,
a lot of people who are
the
creating very
workshop.
cool scenarios. So this ranges from really story-based scenarios, with like you take a squad of troopers to an area and there's storytelling. People even added their own voiceovers. And other scenarios are like really the classic defend the outpost, inspired by the famous movie scene of Whiskey Outpost.
Oh,
where you have
yeah.
to defend your base against lots of endless hordes, basically, of arachnids. And the quality of the scenarios has been really high. We're very happy about that, to see basically how enthusiastic people are about being able to use the editor.
Okay.
So it's now an open beta, which means that everyone can use it.
Okay.
If you
Cool.
jump to the beta branch on Steam, and we actually allow everyone to play the scenarios in the live version of the game already.
Last week, if I remember
That's really
correctly, or
cool.
2 weeks ago, Lucas
More
run a
games
very
need
successful
editors
stream on our
for
channel where you
missions
show
and
the
maps and
basics of
stuff, especially like
crafting
missions
or
with
custom
objectives
scenario.
and stuff like that.
If you join our Discord channel, there are quite a few player-made scenarios that are, some are really good. So if you want to play them, you can just join the Discord channel and download them from there.
Okay, note
as
to
well
self,
as find the set of instructions
play
and how to install
Starship
them.
Troopers
But my question for you is,
missions.
well, you know, there is a specific feature that is highly requested from the community, which will make accessing scenarios
that down.
easier for players. I'm talking, of course, of the Steam Workshop support. So, is it coming?
Yes, absolutely. So currently the way to get scenarios is you have to go to the Discord channel, which there is actually a button for in the game. So if you go to the scenarios panel, there will be a direct link to the Discord
You have to
channel.
go to their Discord.
But obviously that means that's not very useful to, or not very user-friendly basically, because you have to download the files and know where to put them. So Steam Workshop support is something we definitely want to add, considering the success of the scenario editor, and something that will make it a lot easier for players to join us, to get this content, to download it, and also to upload it. So that is something we do want to put into the game before we actually put the editor into the live version.
Sounds great. You know, actually there is another highly requested feature. I'm talking, of course, achievements.
Yeah.
So my next question, of course, is, are achievements coming?
Yes, absolutely. So achievements is also something we're currently working on. Basically what we'll do with achievements is every campaign scenario will have a set of achievements. So it's still not entirely certain how many achievements each scenario will have.
Side missions?
But it will be probably 2 or 3. And basically there will be a couple of achievements that are reasonably straightforward to achieve. So by just basically playing the game, you'll be able to unlock these, but we'll also have a number of more
in games, do you care about achievements?
Tricky achievements that you can only get by playing with certain units or using special abilities in a certain way. So we're offering like a range of challenges for these achievements, and that is coming in Q1 probably next year.
Not just on Steam, but like PlayStation, Xbox.
Before we move on, I wanted to mention that we are updating the roadmap at the end of this.
I like when they pop up and they're funny, and they'll say something like "fire in the hole" because you threw a grenade.
There's also another
through a window or something.
I'm going to announce today. Not even my coworkers.
I don't care about 100%ing a game, but at least it's nice to know.
I'm talking, of course,
if you've done something special.
So yeah, Steam trading cards are coming for Starship Troopers. Surprise!
Yeah, I like when they're funny.
All right, so you know, let's address the big elephant in the room. You know, Steam Workshop support, achievements, they're all fun, but what people really want to know about is new content, new DLCs, a new campaign, maybe a new planet, new units. I know that maybe you don't want to say all of it yet. We have big plans, but I'm just wondering, what can you tell us about this? What do you feel comfortable with sharing?
Yeah, so besides what we've already talked about, one of the things that's currently a big focus in our development is working on a new environment. So we'll have a new environment that is taking place on a new planet.
New planet!
And it will have a new campaign,
desert.
New units, etc. But before I say anything else about it, maybe we should watch a little teaser that we've created for this.
Okay, let's watch this video.
More Starship Troopers, yes. Arachnid presence detected. Oh, it's Christmas. That's nice of them to give us presents. All hell is about to break loose. Oh, it's lava. Great. We go from hellish deserts to... Oh, look at that. Planet Hot Pocket. Oh, what the hell? You got to worry about environmental hazards now too, as if the arachnids weren't enough. Great. Also, sorry about the audio and the video.
With our planet coming for Starship Troopers 10 Command.
This is the best we can do, folks.
Of course, this small teaser didn't show any new unit yet, but they're being prototyped. You will just have to wait a bit longer, just in order to get an official announcement and a full reveal of what this new planet entails.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what can you tell us about this lava planet?
Yeah, so as I already said, it will be a new planet. It will have a new campaign, so a new storyline with characters and all that. And in addition, it will have a lot of new player units and a lot of new arachnid units that are fitting the theme. So we cannot reveal any real details about it yet because we're still very much prototyping this content.
Right.
But over the course of next years, we'll be sharing a lot more information about this. But we can say that we chose the lava planet because it's an interesting environment. It will not just be visually unique, but also it offers some new environmental features. For example, there will be volcanoes that erupt and can damage your units or the bugs. Basically, if you use it well. There are also like these lava geysers which will erupt lava at unpredictable times. Well, you can actually see it coming, so it's something you have to avoid as a player. But at the same time, you can use it in your own advantage by building a defense line beyond the lava geysers and like luring the bugs into them and using the environment basically as a weapon against the enemy.
That sounds great. You know, Terran Command is the type of game in which normally a lot of your guys die. Like
it happens.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. So I'm just really looking forward to how, in what kind of different ways your guys can die in this new environment, because it sounds really creative. All right, so just wanted to mention this Lava Planet is part of a new DLC that we haven't announced yet, but it's going to be released in 2023. So Lava Planet DLC, stay tuned for the official announcement later next
They don't really
year.
have a name for it yet. They're just calling it Lava Planet
Anyway,
DLC.
There was a specific asset in the roadmap that people are really looking forward to. Back in September, we announced a new game mode, which will enhance replayability. So my question for you, Lucas, is what do you feel like sharing with us today about this new game mode? How is work going? What can you tell us?
Yeah, so the new game modes is something, well, game modes in general, more game modes is something that players have really been asking for.
Yep.
And we completely agree with them that there's a lot of content in the game, and we want to make sure that they can have more game modes basically than a campaign to use that content in. So while I can't be overly specific about exactly what we're doing, again, because we're prototyping a lot of stuff and we don't want to announce something before we feel more certain about what we're doing, but we do have a couple of specific goals in mind for these new modes. For example, one of the primary things is to give more control to the player to decide what kind of units that they have and what units they produce, and to progress basically through the tech tree to counter what the arachnids are doing. And another aspect that is tied into that is offering more replayability. So it should be a mode that's really focused on replayability. And for example, by giving more control to the player, of course, you also allow them to decide on their own how to beat challenges and try new tactics and new ways to beat all the stuff the bugs are throwing at you, basically. And finally, the third point I would highlight is that we want to make sure that this game mode is very expandable, so that we can add new unit types, new abilities, etc. For example, the new Lava Planet will be something that we can integrate into the new game modes, so that it is very expandable.
Sounds great. Well, I know that a lot of fans are asking.
This is all good news for Starship Troopers.
More about this
more love.
Mode. I can only invite you to stay tuned if you want to learn more. You know, just to quote FedNet. So you can just join our Discord channel, or just keep checking the Steam page or your store of choice.
Hey, what's up, Sakurian?
And we will be saying more about it pretty soon. Before we wrap this presentation, I just wanted to ask you, are there other news for Starship Troopers Terran Command that you want to share with us today?
Well, of course, besides all the stuff we announced today, we're always working on the game. We're always working to improve the game, like small features, small updates. Usually that is based on what we see on the feedback from players, basically what they're asking for. So one example of what we are currently adding to the game, or basically we finished it, but we need to test it properly and then release it, is we're expanding the unit controls, the unit control groups. Sorry. For example, now you can only, in the current version, you can only assign a unit to one control group, but with the update you'll be able to assign it to as many groups as you want, which is a feature that is very common in all the modern RTS games. And of course, we want to make sure that it's also available in our games. And it's one of those features players have been asking for. So we're always looking for ways to improve the game.
I'm pretty sure that fans will be happy to hear about it. So I'm wondering if we can show the new updated roadmap, so we can share with you guys.
New roadmap
on Steam and our site pretty soon.
All right.
Right. So this is the roadmap for basically the first half of 2023, roughly. No, there are no dates yet, but we can say with
They've already
confidence
delivered
that
on the first
scenario
two.
editor is going to be released alongside the SteamWorkshop support in Q1, around probably January or February, right?
Ooh, new
That
missions.
is correct, yes.
Free?
Then, of course, we'll have extended control groups, as Lucas just said.
New game mode and new
achievements are
missions.
coming.
Hell yeah.
And then
Hell yeah,
we are
brother.
going into more meaty territory. We have the Lava Planet DLC and the new game mode.
And this is just the
coming
first year.
After, well, we don't know yet, but in 2023 for sure. So yeah, that's the roadmap, and we can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. We're really curious. As usual, your feedback is super important for us, so just feel free to contribute and let us know what you think. All right, so we'll be back very soon, and I'm just going to pass the microphone to the tea room.
Back to the tea room. Wait, these screen images are simulated? I thought if I bought an Intel processor that my skin would blow off or whatever.
And we're back here with Julia.
Yeah. Hello. Hello, everybody.
One thing, Julia, I have to say is that it's great that after all these events that we managed to have with, we started, everything was remote. Then we had first maybe a bit remote, a bit of people in here, and now we have upstairs in this office we have I think 4 developers coming to show their games. So I think this is a great achievement for us.
Yes, it's wonderful.
It's really good. So there are 2 games that you will not see today, and I want to give a little bit of a peek on both of them because of course you know that we care about updating you about a number of things. So the first game we're going to talk about is Terminator. You all know that we have a Terminator game in development, Terminator Dark Fate Defiance. It's a game we really care about, and you know that after all the years that you've been waiting for on the Starship Troopers game, we have delivered a very solid Starship Trooper experience.
Pretty good, yeah.
Terminator is alive and kicking. The development is going on, but we are really pushing the boundaries of making it a great game, a great tactical experience, a game that would fit the new wave of RTS coming out in the coming months. So we want to be up there with the best games and deliver a game to you that that's absolutely awesome. So just stick with us and stick with the social media channels, and we'll make sure that you know more about it. The main thing I want to say today is that the game is going to enter beta very, very, very soon. So stick with us about that. It's good news, is it?
Yeah, wonderful news. Yeah.
It's like, how do you turn a negative news is, the game's been delayed into a good news? Well, you're going to have a beta very soon.
Yes, and we keep our promises.
I mean, delayed game's not bad.
Right, so before I'm going to leave my position here, I'm going to welcome someone else, a new colleague of ours.
Yes, a very new colleague.
And I'm going to back here in a few moments.
Dude, all right, so Terminator's getting a beta soon. Frickin' sweet. I think that game has base building too, I think, maybe. Or at least some light base building.
And we are here with our friend, colleague.
Hi, Julia.
Francesco.
Hi, Julia. How, Julia? Such a pleasure to be here.
Welcome to this stage. It's your first time here. Are you excited?
Oh, very, very much. Very, very much.
Wow.
I couldn't sleep tonight.
I know that. And I'm really happy to have a new face next to me. It's great. It's really great.
It's great for me too.
And you're also the owner of a great part of Slitherine that are the tournaments.
Exactly.
You want to say something to our followers and community?
Of course. First of all, I would like to thank to all the participants we had this year and congratulate once again to all the winners. It was an amazing year, quite busy, lots of tournaments. So thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you, guys. You were great.
Thank you. So but it's not over because 2023 is going to be bigger.
Yeah. So do you have any plan to spoil to us?
Of course, our plan is to have more tournaments. during the year, more frequency on lots of tournaments on different video games, and bringing some new kind of mode. Like so far, we got all the same system for all the tournaments, and we would like, and we are testing maybe in the first part of the year, we'll probably bring the knockout elimination format to our tournaments. That could be a good news for some players. We are keeping the old format too. So just to
I'll enter these tournaments if they got a Wendy's gift card.
Wow, that's great. Really, really exciting.
That's the final prize.
And we also have some new games that will have tournaments, right?
Of course. As we're releasing new games, as you probably will see later on during the streaming, we have a few news and few new games that will join our tournament program.
Yeah, in 2023. So 2023 will be a great year for games, for tournaments.
Hell
and
yeah.
There are open tournaments now that our user can join?
For the Battle Sector lovers, we still have the Holiday Madness tournament that is still open, starting on the 15th of December. So you still have a couple of days left to join the tournament and play over Christmas and the holidays to have fun.
Wow, that's maybe the perfect way to spend Christmas holidays.
I think so.
I think that's great. Thank you, Fra. And also other news about Battle Sector.
Yeah, we got
Wendy's,
a pretty big
Michael.
one. We got a pretty big one that starting from today, we are opening up a new sign-ups for our very first prize tournament of Battle Sector.
Wow.
I'm really proud and really excited about this because it's going to be super big. And of course, we opening up the sign-ups today. Then the tournament will start on the 1st of February.
Okay.
And it's going to be all themed of the Sister of Battle that is releasing today. So it's going to be our first prize tournament and our first theme tournament. Then after Sister of Battle, we will have more theme tournament about every faction. And as a prize tournament, Julia, I brought a little surprise. So one of the prizes, the other we will release is probably next month, is
wow, what
comic
is that?
book.
Wow,
Comic book themed Sister of Battle. This is gonna be one of the where is it? Yeah. This is gonna be one of the prizes of the Sister of Battle tournaments.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I can leave it.
Comic books, those are just as dangerous as video games.
So I'm really excited about these, and so if all the players want, they can sign up for both the holiday tournament and the Sister of Battle one.
Guys, I suggest you to join this tournament because this comic book is something amazing. I think that I will start reading it today and probably will finish it tomorrow.
Amazing.
That's probably what will happen.
I wanted to hear. Yes, amazing.
Yes, that's great. And Fra, are you happy being here? You joined us almost.
I'm super excited. It's been like almost 6 months so far.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Everything is amazing. I love it. I'm not saying because Marco is watching me.
No, you're not. Because Marco is not there.
He's not there. He's not watching at all. No. It's been like amazing 6 months. The tournaments are something that it's really exciting, adrenalinic, and we want to get bigger in 2023.
Yes.
And everything so far.
And also
so good.
For you, we have also added a tournament section to the newsletter.
Oh yeah, just for me. That was my Christmas gift.
Tournament sections and newsletters.
And
Pog.
also birthday gift because. Can we say that to our community?
I think we can say it.
Francesco was born on Christmas Day. He is our Christmas gift in our company.
Too kind.
Oh, birthday coming up. Birthday
that's
boy.
Great. And I also know that you will speak about
Christmas is less than 2 weeks, Chad.
Some games also with
you believe that? Less than 2 weeks.
Marco will join me. Because I got not only the tournament but also a couple of games that we are going to talk in a moment, and I think that we are ready to see our first content.
We can switch. Okay, I'll
go.
So
yeah, Marco, please join me. Hi, Marco.
See, I don't think this was prepared to be like this. But,
but
we're fine.
It's live, and this is how it is.
I heard that you're doing very well. That you like working here.
Amazing. Yes, Marco. Yeah.
Because I wasn't there, right?
No. Marco was upstairs. Marco was upstairs. You didn't hear a thing.
No. Right, so Francesco, what do you have? Francesco is working on two main projects right now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
One of them is Distant Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one is the other game that we're not showing today.
We're not showing today, of
Terminator.
course.
So what can you tell us about Distant Worlds?
Okay, so for Distant Worlds, we are working very hard to bring new updates for the game, to fix a few things that happening in the game, and I think that we are going in the right direction. I want to say that 2023 is going to be quite big. I think that if we manage to do it, we can start with a big one on January, February. Let's see. And I really hope that the direction that we are taking is the right one, of course.
We have a little video to show?
Yeah.
Video.
A little video.
Let's start with the video and then come back here.
Wait, is this the Distance World? Is this the old one or the new one?
Welcome, explorers.
Oh, it's gotta be the new one.
When we first met, we introduced you to the new galaxy we had created for you. An immersive environment to let you test your skills and make you feel at home in space.
Okay, I'm gonna play this already.
We know that there's a long way to perfection, and we have been working every day to make the journey to the stars easier and smoother for you all. Since the beginning of this journey on our shared exploration ship, we have made significant progress. The crew has increased, and you now have more forces at your disposal.
I just want to mine out a
The stability of our
planet.
ship is much better, and we've expanded graphical compatibility and also improved performance across the board. We've improved the flight controls by making the artificial intelligence more intelligent and polished some of the quirks in the user interface. We've also made it easier for you to manage your people by making sure your colony ships and passenger ships find their best possible destinations. Finally, there are also major fixes and upgrades to better support you in several other important areas, including exploration, research, diplomacy, and space combat with your fleets, ships, and fighters. Be advised, the galaxy will continue to expand and host new races and factions. It will be your choice whether to become their ally or to fight them. Space is in constant flux. Prepare for new encounters as we are busy at work making Distant Worlds a bigger, better experience for all of you.
Oh, it is the second one, yeah. Oh, does this game have any sort of first person, or is that just like look cool?
Now, one thing about Distant Worlds is that I won't hide from it. We definitely sort of missed the launch in a number of ways. This was a game that we had, prepared for, I think, 7-8 years. The developers at Codeforce were, ready for a number of things to happen the first year after release, and then, the game ended up having some problems that we had to go back and fix. And instead of just fixing the problems, Codeforce hired new people, invested in, not only fixing the things, but actually refurbishing the code and making sure that, we could build on it over time. So it's taken quite a long time. I can see that the reviews are going up again.
Yeah. People, community is answering quite well to I think they're seeing that we are working, and I'm really glad that they're still there. They want from us more, and we are definitely want to give more to the community.
We had, I think they had, at some point we had like a patch delivered every week, which was the joy of our operations team.
The launch was quite buggy.
And I think
I didn't even know this was out, honestly. I thought it was coming soon.
A very frequent
I had no idea.
Release of different updates. But
it seems like more worth playing now. Then
I think that the Q1 next
year
is
fixed so much.
huge.
We are on the
incoming
right
sneeze.
path. I think that we still need some work, of course, because as the video said, the way to the perfection is a long journey.
All good.
And definitely is going to be our final destination. We want the perfection for our community, and we are working really hard to deliver and to give the better experience for everyone.
So I'd say that the galaxy is still alive, right?
Yeah. He's always there. He's always there, right next to you. And in 2023 is going to be even more beautiful. And we will add few things. And I think that I really want to give more details about it, but we want to do it, and we don't want to put any kind of rush on us. So
No,
I
you're
think that for the big news, we have to wait after the holiday.
Yeah, well, Lucas was saying one thing before, that he didn't want to commit to anything until he was like 100% sure that he could deliver it, which is coming from another story of history of, you know, being delayed and a number of other things. But I think it's very sensible, and you know, we're going to sort of follow the same path for Disney World. So we're going to tell you more about it as we're more confident about the stuff to come, and meaning that we know a lot of things are in the works, but before we can announce
Game
them
was
until
laggy
the
due to
release
thousands
date,
of
we're gonna
ships.
wait a
We
little
have
bit.
to
However, the scale's
quality check
nice.
those
Oh.
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Hopefully
So,
they fixed that and or are
Francesco,
fixing more.
elephant in the room.
Yeah, I
your
think
second.
we have to talk about it. It's not easy, but I mean, we have to.
I think there's, again, you know, turn a negative message into a positive.
Okay, yeah.
Stargate Timekeepers.
Yeah,
is
what
the
the
other
hell?
game that you will not see today. Stargate is in development in our new development studio
brand new.
Oh.
brand new,
Very brand new.
just opening in Poland, Slitherine, Poland. We're very original for naming studios. Slitherine, Poland is taking Stargate Timekeepers and another game called Ancient Arenas Chariots that you will see today later on. And they're working on it. Again, this is a game that will release next year, and we're 100% sure that this is going to be a great experience. But again, we want this game to be really good.
It's a huge franchise. I mean, Stargate is a masterpiece from the 90s, so we definitely don't want to ruin the legacy of it. And we
What's
would
next?
like to deliver to the community what's the best, quality product.
Headquarters
So,
World War II. We're going to take a look at a World War II game.
working. Slitherine Poland is going
As soon as
quite
they're done
well.
chatting.
I mean, for something just born, we are working really hard on both Stargate and Ancient Arena that we talk about later. And so I think that definitely is going to be 2023. And I'm really looking
You're
forward to
committing here.
share. Yeah, I'm committing. I'm committing. Yeah, I mean, you forced me to commit it when I signed. No, but jokes aside, I think that I'm really looking forward to show the first beats and the first graphics and the first artworks in the months to come. Definitely.
I'm really excited about Stargate Timekeepers.
Stargate
and
got
again,
kind of a new
taking from the
studio.
same pattern that we used for other games in
And
the
new
past,
people to
we
work
want
on
to
it.
make sure that this is a game that you really enjoyed and represents Stargate at its best, and that's why we're doing all the work we're doing on. And although it seems to be like a long process, it seems to be a long process for us as well. But whenever there's a build coming in, we look at it. We're very critical about stuff, right? So we want it to be
we
better
want it
all
to
the time.
be better. We want it to be and a high standard that I think the community deserves. So we are being picky a little bit, but I think it could be the good process, the right process.
So what is going to be happening in the next couple of hours? After this, we're going to start a new sort of section of Slitherine Next. We're going to show gameplay of future games. What you've seen so far has been updates on Warhammer Gladius and Battle Sector. You've seen Starship Troopers. There's been updates on Distant Worlds. So you're going to see new games, sort of stuff that's going to come later. So the first one you'll see is Headquarters World War II.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
I am too.
Looking forward to it. And again, we have a member of staff. I don't know if you've actually seen Julia before.
That's
but,
interesting,
Julia's
by the
going
way.
to introduce you to this section.
Headquarters World War
with
II
Mark,
implies that you're going to be building a
connecting
base.
from EPSA.
But I think I've seen like turn-based
Ancient Arenas and what else?
combat or something, but
Broken
I'm not
Arrow.
sure.
We've got Broken Arrow.
And,
Broken Arrow that definitely the audience is waiting for.
Oh yeah, Broken Arrow, yeah. Haha.
Yeah.
Just looking forward to that a little bit.
Field of Glory Kingdoms as well. So there's quite a lot of stuff still. So stay with us. So in the next 2 hours, you're going to have a lot of entertainment.
baby. Here we go. World War II game. I think this game's all about logistics. Like, it has you... I think I remember something about doing stuff with trucks and shipping things around, like ammunition and whatnot. But I think it also had combat. Piggies. Yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah, brother. All right, that looks good.
And we are back in the studio.
That's
Hello
company
everyone.
and Call to Arms Gates of Hell quality.
With Mark Hardesty from Epsom. He's actually Slitherine.
It looks pretty.
Senior producer.
That's cool.
Hello, Mark. Can you hear me?
Hello, Julia. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Hi, Mark.
You have a tree.
Yeah. Yes, it's a beautiful Christmas tree, Mark.
Pretty.
I'm missing you, Mark. I have to tell that.
I should be there.
Yeah, I know.
Blame the airports.
Yeah, I know. And we are also connected with Alexander Sienin. Hello, Alexander. Can you hear me?
Hello. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Hello, Alexander. Alexander is a COO and lead game designer for Headquarters World War II from the developer Starship Games. Speaking of which, we have a little surprise for you all.
More footage?
And maybe not, maybe yes. But yes, here it is.
Are these guys hackers? They're hacking in.
Hello, I'm Alexander Senin from Starship Games. I'm a lead game designer for Headquarters World War II.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm a two-dimensional artist in Starship.
Мене звати Шевчук Олександр, і я займаю посаду Lead Level Designer.
Hello there, my name is Max and I'm the lead narrative designer at Starship Games.
Всім привіт, я Олександр, я lead 3D-артист Starship Games.
Я вважаю, що праця зі Слізерином це дуже добре відображається на
Wow, they're speaking Italian, guys.
Зроблено дуже
Wow.
I'm really happy to work in the video games industry. I'm sure that was probably one of the best decisions in my life when I started working here.
I'm very inspired by the fact that our company is focused on the quality of our projects, and it's very important for me.
Працювати в індустрії відеоігор для мене це якби і мрія, яка втілилась, задоволення, натхнення, бажання жити і працювати.
To me, working in the video game industry is about creating stories that a player can inhabit rather than just read or listen to.
Це моя мрія, завжди хотів працювати над розробкою ігор.
I'm in charge of all the game design documentation on the project and also helping managing the team and making sure everyone knows what to do and when to do.
The basic tasks for 3D artists in Starship are all two-dimensional segment of Headquarters. For example, I mean UI,
He's designing the UI, yeah.
icons, and so on.
That's so important too. I love all these World War II games. Whenever you select a unit, they always have like a portrait of the soldier that you've selected or whatever. That's so cool.
Ти опиняєшся в цьому вирі робочого процесу і натхнення приходить само собою.
In historical strategy games, the narrative allows for the dramatization of the historical events, which is not necessarily coming up with something fictional, but finding what's exciting about the historical events and bringing it to the forefront.
So everyone here wants to make the Headquarters World War II better and better.
Doritos. What that logo looks like.
And here we are again. So I hope that gave you an insight of the huge team that is currently working on Headquarters.
Look at how many people it takes to work
and Mark,
on a game like that.
Can you give us a little bit of an update about the development status of Headquarters?
Yeah, sure. when the team are in the final stages of development of headquarters.
Really?
Which is a really exciting time in the game's creation. You know, we're now able to play through all the various single-player missions.
The game's almost ready?
And multiplayer actions.
Oh, hell. Oh, it's got multiplayer?
Really, really good. It's really coming together. We've had the art pass. It's looking nearly sort of final game. Yeah, it's really coming together. It's a really beautiful game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alexander, we want to know more about the game. So can you give us a bit of context? Where is it set? Why the name Headquarters?
Looks like Western Front.
Sure. So Headquarters World War II is a tactical level turn-based strategy game. And that means that you can expect a realistic scale and that your unit's positioning matters a lot and it's focused a lot on tactics. It's set during the Normandy landings and we have a 3 plot-driven campaign, the British one, the American and the German. And it also has a very flexible multiplayer for up to 4 players.
What?
So I hope you will enjoy playing it.
You could do 2v2s in multiplayer?
We'll see a little bit later what you're talking about, but I think that we can start from the single-player campaign. So we can see the video of the single-player campaign. And Mark and Alexander, do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Oh, here we go. Some freaking
gameplay. What we're seeing here is the first mission.
This looks
in the
great.
German campaign. You're playing as the Germans, of course. The Allies have established a foothold in this small coastal town, and your task is to help the German garrison to hold down the town during D-Day.
Ooh,
all the missions have a narrative that follows different characters. With you
the
playing
tracks
from the point of
actually
view of,
flex with the roadway. Look at that.
The footage we have at the
Hard
moment
to see,
that's
but
just starting.
oh, that's cool.
It's the player starting to position his troops on the map. And as you can see, sort of top left, there's primary objectives is to sort of capture 3 key points in the town. So that there are primary and secondary objectives within each mission, and more objectives sort of tend to appear as the mission progresses.
So it looks like you might be able to play as the British and Americans.
So here you can see
versus
like
the Germans.
Like the allies who are landed fighting with allied German troops that you are going to help defend the town. And as you can see, there is some building collapsing. So I just wanted to bring up one of the key elements of the game, that is the destructible environment. So in the game there are a lot of environmental objects such
Not
as
bad for such a small team, I agree.
Buildings,
Dwarf Fortress? Maybe
fences, like, I don't know, tree lines, yards, high vegetation and so on. So all of that
This has got a lot of detail to it.
but
Trees
a lot of
everywhere.
that will also be destroyed by being bombarded either by the player or by his opponents. And basically the player has to adjust quickly to the changing situation on the battlefield. For example, if a house that your troops were positioned in has collapsed, you probably have to look for a
troops
better
get
position
Overwatch
and
as
so
well
on.
inside buildings.
So you really have to like follow what's.
Did I play an
what's
alpha or
happening
beta of this?
and,
No.
you know, think in
I did
advance
play a
of
game
what to
kind of
do.
similar to this called The
If the
Troop,
position
and I
collapses,
liked
you
it.
have to switch it
And it was like the British versus the Germans in the Western Front, but
so here you can see some.
this looks just as good.
Machine gun action.
And reminds me of like if Call to Arms had like a
as you can
turn-based
see,
mode.
The infantry in the open is like really vulnerable, but there are some guys hiding behind the truck, so they have better protection, and now they will.
This seems like
retaliate
Company
with
Heroes
some
plus
anti-tank,
Panzers. Yeah.
rocket launchers, and you can see the building being damaged.
And what was
Also,
the name of that game?
flamethrower units
Panzer.
are really effective in
Panzer
close
Krieg?
combat, and but they.
Oh, regardless, I
dealt
want to play
with
this.
from afar.
This is definitely going on the channel. Oh, I love how the tanks look and operate. Suspension on those tanks is solid.
So I guess another important part of the game, especially in the single player campaign, is the unit management, the headquarters section of the game. So between missions, the player, you can sort of choose which units get special abilities to level up, new abilities. You can assign heroes to certain sort of vehicles, and there are headquarter skills that you can sort of invest in and sort of unlock new ones as well. And you do carry an army
Experience
from mission to
carries
mission
over. Oh, that's
as well.
cool.
So
That's cool. More games need to
nice
do
to
that.
play.
Yeah, but we also made sure that this has like no snowball effects. So you know, in this game, it's okay to lose units, and like you're expected to lose some units because it's like really heavy like tactical battles. And here you can see some tank on tank action with like so there are like different types of hits possible. Like depending on how good your troops are positioned, etc. So you can see the combat log in the top right corner, and it's really important, especially with armored vehicles, to try to
Ooh, a little
outflank
Stuart
or
versus a
even attack
Panzer
from the
III.
rear, because historically tanks had thickest armor at the front and the weakest usually at the rear. So trying to outflank or get behind the enemy tanks would make your attack
There's a Sherman.
much more efficient. So for
I think that's a
example here
Panzer
the tank
III
in the back would
N?
have a better odds at shooting the
Behind
enemy.
him?
But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's there are actually a lot of factors to take into account. That's why we've added this like combat log feature, and you can also see the extended version for all the details. But it's also really easy to jump into the game, so it's like
Oh, dude, the suspension on vehicles looks cool as hell.
But there is really a lot of depth to it once you figure out.
I don't know
the
why that
basics.
excites me so much, but yeah.
I would say it should be interesting to both like experienced veteran players and newcomers to genre. So I hope we'll give it a chance. And here you can see the enemy infantry hiding in the high vegetation, so it offers decent protection.
Schwimmwagen with
so
a
it's quite difficult to take down. And
Schwimmwagen?
here you can see with return
Oh, whatever. It's got an
fire,
MG.
they kill a couple of crew members in the scout car. So it's one of the another key mechanics is the crew mechanics. So each unit has up to 5 crew members, and basically when like any of the crew members is lost, the specific penalty is applied to that unit. So for example, if your vehicle lost a driver, you lose a large portion of your movement points.
Okay.
If you've lost loader, you have less attacks. If you've lost gunner, you have less accuracy, and so on. So it's really important to understand, like, and we wanted to highlight that, you know, each crew member is really important, and you know, unit functions only as long as there is crew. And here you can see the enemy tanks like taken out our tanks, and the anti-tank infantry crew runs in to try and save the day.
Well, that's point blank.
And manages to do it successfully. So we've dealt with the enemy armor, and now should have easier time defending this town from the
Game's details look really nice.
as you know,
Fire,
historically,
damage,
inevitably
buildings being
jump
destroyed.
back.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alexander and Mark. And that's not all for today about headquarters, because as Alexander was anticipating before, we are also going to see some footage from a multiplayer match. I think this is the first time that we reveal footage from the multiplayer. So, Mark, can you tell us a little bit more about that? What are the core gameplay mechanics of the multiplayer?
Yeah, sure. So the game comes with up to 4-player multiplayer. It's possible to play either through our PBM system, sort of our turn-based system, which can take many hours and days, but the team have also put together a live turn-based system as well. So you can play the game within an hour. And
Broken Arrow's coming up pretty soon. We're getting closer.
I believe we're going to show footage from a live 4-player game.
We're about over halfway there.
We edited it down because I think the game was over an hour. I think Marco would probably kill us if we took that.
Maybe someone else too?
Yeah. Yes. So, yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah, I want access to this. Hell yeah.
I think that we already saw a little bit of the video, but it's now time to see the multiplayer match. And Alexander, since you were one of the player of the multiplayer match, can you walk us through? We will not say if you won the match or not. We will find it out at the end of the video. But please, can you walk us through the match?
Sure. So here you can see one of the players setting up the game, so choosing the map, selecting how many players will there be, whether this is like human players or AI, what teams they are in. So here everyone is for himself, it's like free-for-all match. And here you can see like 4 victory conditions, different like turns limit, starting prestige, prestige income, also like you could set up the higher starting level for units, enable heroes and so on. So there are really lots of settings for you to play with. And here we're already in the match. So here is one of the players deploying his
Tiger 2 Storm.
units. So you get some starting prestige and you can acquire any units and deploy them. And that would usually be your first turn. So here you can see a couple of other players who've already deployed their starting troops. But that's not the end of it. So as the game progresses, you gain more prestige and you can deploy more troops at any time. So here you can see my APC bringing infantry to capture this neutral flag.
Half track rolling through, very nice.
To get some extra prestige income. So it's really important, as in many games, of course, to control the flags. And here they bring you not only one of the victory conditions, which is like whoever controls the most flags.
Oh, you just capture it right away without...
they bring you extra prestige every turn, so it's really critical to control as many flags as possible. So you can deploy more troops and reinforce your position. So here we can see some of the skirmishes around one of the flags already starting. So, you know, the battle for control is ongoing now. So here you can see the red line is showing line of fire, so you can toggle it on and off. And here you could also see how it's affected by the terrain and by all the buildings and tree lines and everything. And you will also be able to see it change as the unit will start to move right now. You can see that it's taking into account all the terrain and everything. And
so
here you can see...
Alexander, so there's a number of sort of visual layers you can sort of switch on and off depending how you want to play. Sort of, there is fog of war, there is a sort of line of sight, you can have the grid on and off depending on how much detail you want and information you want.
Yeah, exactly. And here you can see like one of the players deploying in the middle of the game and capturing some extra flags. And as Mark just pointed out as well, yeah, you can, like here you can see the grid, but here you can see no grid and so on. So each player can adjust it and toggle it on and off as needed. So same with combat log, whether you want extended version or a short version, or like whether you need grid, line of fire, fog of war. So yeah, it's really flexible in that regard. And here you can see some of the
is that a flak 88?
In action.
Oh, it is. Oh, so they're stationary units too.
It was trying to ambush the Tiger tank before. So
where's that?
Yeah, so you can also like zoom in and...
Oh, it's a 90 millimeter. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there are
American version of that.
Yeah, so
when you're sort of saying zoom in, the camera control, you know, seems it's fairly easy to use. There is little on the mouse scroll. You can zoom in and zoom out with a little bit of extra.
I don't need to see any more footage on this one. I already want to play. That's pretty cool.
So if you want to play from top down, you can do, but you can also sort of get in close and dirty.
Oh, wait, what?
See things in more detail.
Yeah, exactly.
The trucks don't necessarily seem to tow it. It seems to be in the vehicle, and then they deploy it, which I guess is kind of the same thing.
So sometimes you want to zoom in more to see the units in detail or some battle going on. Normally you would probably play from some mid zoom, and then you can also zoom out and see a full top-down like tactical view to, you know, better grasp the battlefield.
Oh, that car is going to get destroyed.
So
Wait,
here
what?
we can also see some skirmishes going on, and here you can see that this car with a machine gun cannot penetrate the front armor of more armored car, because you know, even if you land a perfect hit, that doesn't mean it would penetrate the enemy armor. That's why it's really important to have the right gun. And,
yeah, it takes
you know,
into account a lot of factors for armor. That's cool.
Here you could have seen the scout unit deploying a smoke screen to basically hide his vehicle and give it extra protection as it was damaged, to try and save it from potential enemy attack. And yeah, so here
Alexander, the two icons to the right-hand side, the guy with the bugle and the saluting soldier, what exactly are those?
Yeah, so those are the HQ skills that you can see in the game, and yeah, so basically these two are, one is restoring
a kangaroo
morale, and another one restoring its
the Sherman without a turret, basically.
You can use those on any of your units on the map, but then it will be on cooldown for a few turns. So it represents like you as a commanding officer and some of the options that you have, but you have to be strategic about using them, because once you've used one of these, they aren't available for a couple of turns, and that means that
what a strange idea that was.
Saved it for a more important unit on a different flank that you wanted to, or like, so maybe now is not the moment to use it, or maybe now it is. So that's really up to you to decide, and there will be more abilities, and in campaigns they usually depend on the scenario, but in multiplayer, like, you can set up whether to have this or on.
This
or
seems
off.
robust.
And here you can see the battle for the central flag.
Game.
So it's like the most contested point on the map probably, because all 4 players have access there. So now you see that one player has already captured it, but now the other one attacks with mortars to sort of weaken the unit there. And after bombarding it with mortar and killing some crew and lowering the unit's morale, it uses the scout unit with assault attack to take the flag. So assault, it's like a close combat attack where if you defeat the enemy, you also take the tile his unit was in, and so you know, the central flag has just switched hands. Yeah, so here you can also see some battle against the Tiger tank, and as you can see, like, frontal attacks don't work really well against that armor. Here I would also want to highlight this building, because we can like follow the different stages of its just like being undamaged. Now it's sort of damaged, and if it's further attacked, it would collapse at some point. So as I've said, all the buildings
I'm already sold. I already want to play this.
And you can do that in the match, and they also
offer
less protection when they are destroyed.
Building destruction looks great. It's literally all to arms with how things look. Like the maps.
Alexander, you were saying that you can when you set up multiplayer and skirmish maps, you can sort of have various options sort of switched on and off. Do you want to just sort of touch on a couple of those? I know there's the headquarters, but there's other things in there to sort of set up your multiplayer game.
Sure. So first of all, like, you can either play it as a skirmish, so without other players, like just against the AI. But you could also play all the like skirmish maps against other player opponents, and it's really flexible. So you have 4 victory conditions. Those are focused on capturing other players' starting bases, basically HQs. Then on controlling the flags for the most of the time. So like for controlling flags you get victory points, and the first player to reach a certain amount wins. Then there is also defeating
that Tiger 2 is at point blank range with that Hellcat. Yeah, it's over.
If you reach the turn limit without fulfilling any of the other victory conditions, then
units can reverse. Very nice.
Killed by each player is counted, and whoever has the
more combat games need weapon environment damage.
So
yeah,
it's really important. Like not only how many.
Yeah, it's annoying in a game when you call in like an airstrike on a town and there's like literally no damage to a barn.
You can see the tank maneuvering with backwards movement.
Yeah,
and also
backwards.
rotating like to certain directions. So it's really important to use that, like to retreat with your frontal armor facing the enemy. And it's also important to utilize this like both.
This game is headquarters World War II, not Broken Arrow. ... Exactly. We're covering the, as the title says, the next event.
The damage that the enemy could deal to you.
Right now we're on headquarters World War II. Later will be Field of Glory Kingdoms. Then back to the key room. We're covering the whole event today.
And as you can see, like
refers to that in the pinned message at the top of the chat. It also says that in the title as well.
We moved closer, so this is all like calculations based on. So some units you cannot see at all if they're like behind the building or behind a forest or a tree line. But then there are also 3 levels. So like you either don't see unit, or you see it as some unit, but don't know the particular
This game looks cool. This is definitely another one I'm going to play.
Tank,
I'll be honest, I'm not like 100% interested in every one of the games that these guys are making. However, I will say it's like 90%. Like I enjoyed Starship Troopers. I'm really excited to see the Terminator game and see how that turns out. I want to play the Stargate game and see what that's like.
With the variety that
Headquarters I want to play for sure. This game right here, I want to play this 100%.
I think
Broken Arrow,
one of the key
absolutely.
things that I've been enjoying is the reason. One of the reasons why it looks so gorgeous is you've got quite a powerful map editor that I believe is going to be released with the game as well. I know I've had a play on it already.
There's no footage from the Terminator game today.
Being able to kind of create your own villages.
Apparently, what I think has happened with that game is that they.
Being able to kind of create
they made a new studio for it in Poland,
down your pigs and your
and they
cows and
moved
your
all the
chickens
stuff
where
to
you want
Poland.
as well.
Yeah, sure.
So they basically have like they paused production on the game to move it to a new studio and then like give it all the resources to make it even better or to speed up its production.
With all its creativity
But
and,
if it's delayed, good.
for creating,
Delayed
great
is better
maps
than
to play.
released as a
And
mess
also,
or
you know,
canceled.
if you feel
So
that,
that's good.
You know, you could make a better map. It's always better to do the map you want and play it with your friends. So like, what could be better than that? So yeah, we are working on the editor tool, and so that you can make a map and then play it as a skirmish or multiplayer map with other people as well. So yeah, editor is a big part.
Oh, and there's a damn editor too? There's a mission map editor? Damn, Uthras is gonna love this.
You can see that the tank like missed twice because the enemy unit was behind the tree line, so it was a tough target to pinpoint.
More
And,
games need
here you
map
can
editors
see
too.
that,
Especially
like, the
RTS.
tanks are getting closer to one of the starting bases, so you know the combat is heating up.
So who do you think is actually going to win this game then?
Well, that's not a fair question because.
No.
No.
But yeah, here you can see the Panzer tank destroyed, and I think that's about the.
Oh, dude, the
end of this,
vehicle
like,
destruction looks
short
phenomenal.
version of this
That
game. The
looks
game, of
cool to
course,
see a
is
fiery
becoming
wreck.
longer. And
No,
here,
Alexander,
Dark
you
Zone,
didn't
this is
win.
Our lead level designer, yeah. So good job on this one, but I'll win another time. So.
Yeah.
I see you won. You won in the units lost, Alexander.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I'm
You get
best
a warning
at,
for
sure.
Yes.
we will see another match of the multiplayer one or another time, and I'm pretty sure that you are gonna win that match. So before going to the next game, we want to share some important news about headquarters. But Mark, I will leave you the pleasure to tell that to our community.
Comes out tomorrow.
Sure. Well, I'm excited to say we have literally just opened up the sign-ups for Headquarters Beta Phase. So if you head over to the Slitherine website and sign up, you'll be blowing up buildings and tanks and
I'm signing up now.
Infantry in a few days. So yeah, check that out. Go and sign up, and you can have a
website and sign up to Headquarters Beta. And also, Mark, can we also say that we are going to release this game next year? Can we say that?
I bloody well hope so. Yes. It'll be kind of early next year.
Yeah.
People next year.
Asking,
good.
So we want to reassure the community that yes, we are going to release next year. So
it's very playable at the moment.
Yeah. In the meanwhile, you can sign up to the beta, of course. And I think that our time is coming to an end. So before going to the next game, I want to thank you guys. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Alexander, for being with us.
Looks like they're working on another World War II game called Scramble.
So I want to say goodbye. And,
about the Battle of Britain.
We are going to see in a few seconds another big game with Alberto, and it's Field of Glory Kingdoms. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I'm signing up for the World War II game right now. All right, I'm going to play that for sure. All right, so we are about, let's see, 2 games away. Field of Glory and Ancient Arenas are the last 2, then Broken Arrow.
Field of Glory Kingdoms time. Field of Glory Kingdoms, for all those who don't know about it, is a 4X grand strategy game set in the medieval era. It's a sequel to Field of Glory Empires, and just like Field of Glory Empires, it's a WeGo game, which means simultaneous turn-based. We're about to connect with Neil McKenna, who is the producer for the game from Epsom. So let's see if we can talk with him. Well, I believe that they need a few more seconds in order to just make the switch. You know, unfortunately, Neil was supposed to come here, as Marco said before. But yeah, snow got in the way. Yeah, it happens. All right, so I think we are now live with Neil. So, hello, Neil.
Hello, Alberto.
How do you do?
I can see myself on screen. Hello.
That's a positive thing.
Good.
So, how are you, Neil?
I am okay. I'm disappointed not to be there. I was really looking forward to coming to Milan.
Another one, chat.
I think more to do than any of the other producers. I should be not only talking about this, but about Chariots and Broken Arrow as well. So really disappointed to be missing out on what was a very big date in my diary. But here I am. So we will make the best.
Read the first 2 words, clicked, and then
we are very bummed down as well. But yeah, as you say, let's make the best out of it. So, can you give us a rundown of the game and how things are going with it?
Well, just as I was plugging in my headphones, I heard you saying, giving a very brief introduction to Kingdoms. So, Field of Glory Kingdoms is the follow-up to Field of Glory Empires, which released, I don't know, about 4 years ago, before I was here, certainly. A grand strategy game that was set in ancient times. Our game here, Kingdoms, is set at what you might call the birth of the medieval era. The game starts in 1054, right after the Great Schism between Western and Eastern Christianity, splitting between Catholic and Orthodox faith, an event which is still having repercussions today, you could say. There's a lot of finely poised campaigns going on at the moment. There's tension between Normandy and most of its neighbours. The Reconquista is shaping up in Spain. The Byzantine Empire is trying to fight off the Seljuk Turks. So there's a lot of finely poised power balances at the start of our game. As you were saying, we are a turn-based WeGo strategy game. WeGo is not something we do so much of, but it's one of our WeGo games. Up to 16 players can play simultaneously in multiplayer. As the map is showing here at the moment, we cover all of Europe, plenty of Middle Eastern countries, and an awful lot of North Africa as well. In comparison to Empires, we have more major nations this time. I think we have about 10 major nations, and the major nations this time, gameplay differs a lot more than it did in Empires. So the major nations, off the top of my head, England, Norway, France, the Rus, and so on, they all have very different gameplay styles. Venice too has a unique gameplay style. There's a lot of historical fidelity in the game. We've placed a premium on historical accuracy. I'm sure people will point out plenty of errors in the chat. But it's also worth noting that history here is not destiny. Normandy is not fated to conquer England, whatever happens. The Byzantine Empire is not fated to lose all of its lands. Good players will be able to achieve whatever result they intend to achieve.
Great. I'm really happy to hear about this starting date because it's a very interesting period in medieval history. It's curious that you mentioned Norway because, had things turned differently in 1066, maybe the King of Norway would have won the throne of England instead of William the Conqueror. All right, so...
Well, indeed, yes, and that's...
Yes. So that's one of the major turning points that history can shape up in different ways throughout the game. All right, so my first question, in 4X games or graph strategy games in general, you tend to have this paint the map gameplay in which a faction starts to expand and then steamrolls and then just gets so big it basically doesn't have any real opponent anymore. So Field Glory Empires had a specific system to address that. I'm just wondering if you can expand on it and if you can expand on how Field Glory Kingdoms tackle the topic.
If I was doing sort of a proper marketing presentation, I'd probably also have mentioned that with Kingdoms, we're trying to take everything that was well received about Empires and build on that. We're not throwing all those things away and taking a new game. I think that one of the things that people liked most about Empires was the cultural and decadence mechanisms, whereby no nation could ever get easily or could never easily get too powerful. There were always breaks on your ability to just roll over your neighbours. More lands to control always brought more problems with you. They place stress on your administration and empire. And that
Dude, we are getting so many really cool, like turn-based medieval games.
All right, sounds good. But
I think I've played probably, or at least have seen 10 of these games like this over the last couple of years. These are in big demand. People love this.
Successful, you don't want to punish him.
And they're all different too.
Oh, absolutely. And we're not preventing people doing that. Good players will still be able to turn the map whatever colour they want to turn the map.
The borderlines are not animated on playable.
They will be able to do it here as well. But authority is what we're calling the mechanism this time. It's, I think, probably more of an integral part of
the hell is France?
Last time.
That in Europe?
There will be the tension between your authority, your ability to control your lands, versus the amount of territory you control, because you will need to control territory in order to evolve your government up to the next size.
Is that a small country?
In order to reach the correct size, to grow your government and grow a more powerful empire, you are essentially going to have to grow out of your comfort zone. So there's
exactly. Where the hell is this Europe?
Between seizing the requisite amount of land and being able to control what you've grabbed.
Just let me get this right. In order to grow from one step of government to the next, you need to expand your country, right? But what if you're playing as a country which historically was very powerful but didn't expand much?
Does it have tanks?
Of the Sea Republics of Genoa or Venice or other examples in medieval history? How does it work then? Does the game portray that?
Well, good
kind of
point
situation?
indeed. We first announced the game in Venice, didn't we? Venice had some land overseas. I think we control part of Greece, part of what's now Croatia and so on, but not an awful lot. Genoa, I think, was very localized, but also a very powerful republic, and indeed the two republics fought for supremacy in and around the Mediterranean for many, many years. Republics evolve differently. So maritime republics will not have to grab large amounts of land to expand. Their drivers to expand will be much more commercially based.
Basically, it's a type
for
of
governments to evolve.
So basically, it's a type of government that allows you to build tall and play vertically. That sounds very interesting.
Absolutely, yes. As I say, we placed a premium on historical actors.
Yes, this is a post-apocalyptic open-world survival game with zombies.
To take control of what is nowadays Italy.
And city building.
In Kingdoms, we have something like 100 forms of government overall. We have a huge amount of different government styles. Many nations, groups of nations, have perks depending on their government styles. We'll touch on that a bit later on, but you'll have Byzantine pioneers, French chivalry, Russian Kremlin, so on and so forth. So it would be very hard for some countries to expand. For others, it will be essential if they're to keep going.
It was great. The medieval era was famous for feudalism. So I'm just wondering, how does the game handle vassals?
Yeah, vassals are a new feature that we're bringing in here, and they are an essential part of gameplay. I mentioned that the tension between the size of your domain and your authority.
Will there be a rat tsunami? Yes.
Perhaps the central mechanism of the game. Vassals, I could probably spend half an hour sitting here talking about how it does work, but to oversimplify it, vassals allow you to control more territory than your authority would allow. So you can create a vassal and count towards your domain size, allow you to evolve your government without stretching your authority. You can also, there are some neat things you can do. You can take control of vassals' armies, for example, if they're loyal enough.
Right, very interesting. There was another aspect of the medieval era which should be prevalent in a strategy game set in the Middle Ages. I'm talking, of course, of dynasties and dynastic policies. So I believe we have another video to show you. But yeah, I want to ask you, how does the game handle dynasties?
So dynasty again is a very it's a
Seems
new
like it's
part of the
required
game.
now. Vassals and
the grand campaign is 220
dynasties.
turns, each turn being a year long. So you're
all
not
these
playing
medieval
as one character.
4X games all have that now.
You're playing as an empire, and as an empire, you are going to need a strong dynasty. A strong dynasty, the currency by which the success of your empire will be judged at the end of the campaign is legacy points. A strong dynasty is essential to that. I can see we're showing the screen here that shows our dynasty screen. We have sons and we have wives, first of all, rather, before we get to children. We have wives and courtesans. Not sure there are any courtesans on screen there, poor old in France. Medieval times were even less enlightened than the times we live in today. And women exist in order to produce heirs. And we have sons and daughters too. Daughters, I'm afraid, it is their lot to be married off to other nobles and improve relations with other nations. Whereas sons form part of your lineage, they can succeed you. As I say, a strong, assured dynasty will increase the value of your legacy, which, come the final reckoning at the end of the game, will be very important.
Compared to Field of Glory Empires, I see that characters now have some attributes.
Yes, we touched on that in Empires, I think, but it's a much more defined part of the game now. So all rulers will have administrative attributes, military attributes, and piety attributes. We'll come to religion on its own later on, because it's one of the big pillars of the game, but each is very important for gameplay. Each is as important as the other. Administration and military, I think, are fairly self-explanatory. They will allow you to run your empire more efficiently, make more money. Military allows you to recruit more units, cheaper cost, and so on and so forth. So the ability of your ruler is definitely part of the factor of their success as a ruler and their ability to create a dynasty.
So I just wanted to clarify one thing, because some of you might be wondering about it. In Philoglory Kingdoms, you play as the country. You don't play as the
YouTube considers this to be
this
HD.
Is a game. It's not a role-playing game, although there are a few role-playing features. But yeah, you do play as a country, and in the case of what happens if
I'll guarantee you that they're not
gets assassinated, or if another
on their end, their stream probably looks way better than this. But man,
yes, well, the intrigue is indeed part of
YouTube makes everything look like trash.
There are many. You have
like how long until 4K video on YouTube just looks like 1080p?
But you also have brothers and uncles as well. Once again, it's very male-centric. They can succeed you. They can be nobles to be part of your lineage.
Like YouTube has this like
name them to specific posts. I think one of our new features, for example, is that you can create all these people a peer of the realm.
Well, to be fair, only $1 trillion this year.
Regions into a province, and by putting a peer in charge of that, that brings you various perks and bonuses as well. These people will have their own abilities, their own loyalty, their own treasury, so on and so forth.
So basically, you're saying that the character system doesn't only revolve around, immediate dynasties and your heirs, but it's a lot deeper than that. There are other types of characters.
Absolutely, yes. It's as we say, we're not making an RPG here, but yes, you have brothers, uncles. You even have nobles who are not related to you but are powerful, and you need to keep an eye on them overall as well. All of these people will have their own.
Anthony, thank you very much.
Their own sort of financial incentives.
Enjoy all the new emotes
so
for all you new members, courtesy of Anthony.
Something about their loyalty.
I think he cuts off your name a little bit. Anthony Giovanni. Thank you very much, dude. It doesn't tell me.
Personal treasures for these characters. So what can they use this treasury for?
Well, I suppose the main thing you can use it for, they can.
Giovanetti, thank you very much, sir.
With treasury, they can divert it towards funding their own armies as well, which a disloyal peer or a disloyal vassal ruler with his own army can obviously be quite a threat as well. Equally, a loyal, happy peer or noble with a strong army could be a very realistic candidate to succeed you when the time comes. You may not have any sons, for example, or brothers, or you may have a weak son, 2 weak sons, brothers. So managing the succession is an important part of managing your dynasty, and therefore managing the legacy, which is the measure of success, ultimately.
All right, sounds great. This character system is very interesting. So basically, what happens is that you need to watch over your shoulder for these loyal vassals, and dynasties can topple your ruling dynasty, which means, yes, you keep playing, but your country can get very weakened by this internal struggle. All right, so
indeed.
There's another gameplay mechanic that I want to mention. It represents a specific aspect of medieval era. I'm talking, of course, of religion. So, religion. How does the game handle religion, and how is it portrayed in Philoglory Kingdoms?
Well, religion was obviously a huge part of everyday life in the medieval era, and it would not make sense to avoid that. We have 5 major religions. We have 5 main branches of the Abrahamic religion. So we have, as I've already mentioned, Eastern and Western Christianity, we have Sunni and Shia Islam, and we have Judaism as well. We also have, for added flavour, there's heretics who can spring up anywhere, including in your own territories, and there are various pagan nations as well. This isn't just, it's a fundamental part of the game. It's not just something for show. Each population in kingdoms is defined by its cultural group and its religion, which is a very important thing if you are seeking to conquer new territories. Religion is just yet another source of friction between you and your neighbours as well. So, religions running up against each other is an important part of the game.
So, depending on your neighbors' religions compared to your own, it can mean that basically you can have a target painted on your back, right?
Yeah, after this we're going to look at the
yes, but in medieval
chariot
times
races are
in
next,
particular,
and then
with a few obvious
broken
exceptions,
arrow. It's coming.
Religions aren't generally rubbing up
coming.
against each other cheek by jowl. If you're playing as England or Venice, then you're not going to be fighting against Orthodox Christians, let alone against Muslims. So unless you're playing really in Spain or in the Middle East, you're likely to be up against nations of the same religion. Declaring war against them will cost you authority, and one of the big new factors that we have here, given that we're depicting religion, we have holy wars and the papacy are factors in the game.
A specific role in the religious game in Field of Glory Kingdoms.
Sorry?
Does the Pope play a specific role in the religious game?
Oh yes, the Pope is, as again you would expect for the time, the Pope's power is extraordinary. The papacy can, for example, declare a crusade. We'll sort of come to holy wars shortly. A Pope can also excommunicate a nation. The favour of the papacy is hard to win, but very powerful. For example, if you are one of our new colleagues in Poland and you want to declare war against Lithuania, then trying to lean on the papacy to look less favourably on Lithuania will strengthen your hand. But each region, each nation has a piety value. You can't simply tell the Pope that Lithuania, in this example, are a bunch of heathens and you should go to war against them.
What can you tell us about crusades in Field of Glory Kingdoms?
So, crusade, it's a bit wider than that. In fact, we have a system for holy wars. So, Christianity can crusade, Islam can declare jihad as well, and we'll see an example of that later. This can happen spontaneously, for example, if there's a large imbalance of power between the two faiths. I think we've excuse me, I think we've seen the religion screen, which shows the balance between Christianity and Islam. We have 5 holy cities in the game. So we have Jerusalem, which then is being fought over by everyone. We have Medina and Mecca for Islam, and we have Constantinople and Rome for Christianity. When a holy war triggers, it's a bit like a mini world war. 2 big groups of nations can fight against each other, and conflict can expand and keep dragging in other nations until enough time has elapsed and people get sick of it, or until one of the holy cities changes hands. When a war erupts, there will be a lot of special game rules that activate. You'll be able to pass through any Christian nation in times of crusading, for example, as if you had passage rights. Equally, you might see either Crusaders or Mujahideen appearing spontaneously in neighbouring territories, in your own territory. They have their own agendas, of course, and we also have knightly orders.
Yes, I'm very curious about knightly orders, actually. They were very influential in the era. I'm thinking, for instance, of the Templars. Everyone knows
look at all the portraits.
So what can you tell us about knightly orders in the game?
Yes, I think one of the themes of the game is that everybody has their own motivations, whether they're your own potentially loyal or disloyal peers or knightly orders. Knightly orders are like power groups.
The current game that they're showcasing is called Field of Glory Kingdoms.
They can implant over time in your own regions.
Then next they're going to be showcasing Ancient Arenas Chariots. And then right after that, Broken Arrow.
And a curse in many ways. They will keep you safe.
Chariot game looks interesting. It's going to be kind of like how the Gladiators work. Oftentimes in games where it's all about like getting horses, breeding them, upgrading your chariots, betting.
They all have their own agendas. They once the job that they have come to do is done, they may or may not choose to leave your territory afterwards.
Yeah, they're saving the best for last.
This type of feature,
they know what we want to see.
Could be a bit invasive towards gameplay and towards the player's agenda.
Well, I think it's a realistic part of life as it was then. They're not invincible. Certainly, you can limit their power. It's going to cost you authority. You can even look to have them executed, as happened against the Knights Templar with Philippe le Bel in the early 14th century. But putting Knights Templar to death may displease the papacy. That is going to make life very hard. Talked about some of the powers of the papacy earlier. You may not be allowed to join a crusade, for example, if you have displeased the papacy. And simply being a crusader will lend you authority over time. So much of this game comes down to authority.
Before we move to the last major topic, I wanted to just ask you something really quickly. How can you raise your piety? What are the ways in which you can do that?
So one of the many new features we've barely touched on today is that we have new classes of citizens and population this time. I think it's 6 or 7 classes versus only a couple that we had in Empires. One of those classes are clergymen this time around, so they can't really convert from or to anything else. So clergymen in your region will increase your piety. But the main way of doing it, other than pleasing the papacy, is to build religious buildings. These obviously tend to be quite impressive things. We're not talking simple wooden churches or mosques here. We're talking glorious buildings that will inspire awe amongst the populace and please religious leaders. Quelling heresies as well. Heresies, particularly where you have weak piety, need putting down quickly because they can spread like wildfire. And heretics may even kill your clergymen, so they can be doubly bad for you.
Thank you, Neil. All right, so there is one last major topic that I want to ask you about. There is a small scenario, custom scenario in the game, which is called El Cid. It obviously features the famous El Cid, the Spanish hero from the medieval era. So, Neil, what can you tell us about this scenario?
So, one of the complaints I say we had with Empires last time around was we had the huge grand campaign, we had a tutorial scenario, and that was about it. Players wanted smaller campaigns that they wouldn't necessarily have to play for the equivalent of 220 years. We have, I think,
that's fair.
We have the grand campaign, we have 2 smaller scenarios, and then we have this sort of bite-sized scenario we see here, El Cid in 1087. And you can see the entire map there of Iberia. But just because it's small, it doesn't mean that there is not challenge here. So this feels like a microcosm of the complexity of relationships and the value of alliance and religion in the game. This scenario, excuse me, as you can see, is set in 1087. So this is 1 year after the Battle of Sagrajas. The King of Castile, Alphonse, had some success against the Taifas kingdoms in Spain. These were the European Muslims who ruled much of the peninsula in the time. The Taifas, in order to gain back their lands, look to the south to what is now Morocco, called in the Almoravids to help them, and the Taifas declared a jihad. So this campaign is another illustration of a holy war. The Almoravids arrived, the Christian invaders were pushed back, and here our scenario begins.
If you play as the Taifas, won't it be a bit easy if you can just call your big brother, the Almoravids, to help you and they just win the war for you?
Well, I do keep saying that it's not just your enemies that you have to look out for in this game, you have to look out for your friends as well. There was something of a division of values between the Taifas and the Almoravids. The Almoravids thought the Taifas were too soft, too Europeanised, not devout enough. So once they get there, they push back the Christian invaders, but then realising how weak the Taifas are, or they feel they are, they start taking their lands too.
Fun. All right, so this is a 3 ways scenario.
Broken Arrow will
so
probably be probably 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's.
They're going on to a different game after this, though.
We're going
to look at a new game in just a minute.
Scenario, in fact, at the moment. So, yes, we have the Castilians, and we have the Taifas, and we have the Almoravids, but it's called the El Cid scenario. And you can. We are looking to make El Cid playable as well. He plays not unlike the Holy Order himself, sort of travelling around, something of a joker in the pack, I think. So he has his own, he has no lands, but he has his own goals, his own values, and so on. So there's a lot going on this small map.
It's very interesting to hear you compare El Cid to the Joker. But yeah, I'm just wondering, so each of these factions have their own unique traits, right, that really shape the differences between them. What else can you tell us about these differences and these traits that they can gain throughout the campaign?
Well, for example, the Spanish kingdoms, the Spanish Christian kingdoms, just to be clear, have 3 main traits at the start. So they have the Reconquista trait, which helps them conquer back the peninsula. They get a bonus in precious authority when they conquer new regions and build fueros, garrisons in these villages. They have lots of regional decisions at their disposal. A lot of the development work which has been going on over the last year has been on enhancing the regional decision system from what we had in Empires, where we had I think 14
maps pretty
decisions.
I like maps.
We're up to 50 plus now, so they're a much more important part of the game.
Is John Travolta in this game? You want Slitherine to make an open world survival Greece?
To the situation in which they find themselves in.
An open world driving game in the 50s, where you drive down to the local ice cream social.
Portugal, which allows the easy setup of Knights Templar and Spanish knightly orders. So another boon in the fight against the Muslim enemy. However, as we said, knightly orders can be almost as problematic as they can be helpful.
All right. Just one last question about this El Cid scenario. So back to Taifas and El Cid, are there any more specificities about these factions that you want to share with us? Any sort of unique aspect to them?
Artillery.
El Cid, I think, is interesting because he doesn't play like a normal faction. He roams the land like a holy order. He will have the goal, as he did in real life, of making Kingdom of Valencia his personal lands. So he has a few tools to make playing with him interesting. He has no lands, so he can recruit some units directly where he is, as he did. I mean, he's viewed as a national liberator hero in Spain nowadays, but he changed allegiance from Christian to Muslim in the past, and he can do that here, albeit at a cost of authority. And I think perhaps most interestingly for El Cid, he can attack without a declaration of war and just go straight in. So Most of the time, in a turn-based game, you need to declare war in one turn.
I joke, but traveling Route 66 in a pre-highway 1950s would be kind of cool.
Can just turn like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Gas Station Simulator feels like. Like you're on Route 66 in the 50s, although
it's
still has computers, but could be easily made into a 50s game.
Difficult situation for the Typhus. A lot of the
that's true. John Travolta was in Broken Arrow, the movie.
In the grand campaign.
That was about a lost nuclear missile. As we're in this case, Broken Arrow kind of refers to being over. Well, the first time I think I've ever heard that is We Were Soldiers, and/or what kind of made it famous in popular media. People mentioned ever since.
If they do manage to unify Spain, then they create the
That's cool.
Cordoba, which will give them a huge bonus to what they're creating. Which, within the realms of this scenario, I think it's going to be pretty difficult, but for a good player, it will be achievable.
Sounds good. Thank you, Neil.
Yeah, We Were Soldiers, Mel Gibson.
Before we wrap up this presentation, let me just ask you.
That's the first time I heard Broken Arrow.
Share with us today
like used in military jargon.
Now, what
but the Broken Arrow movie,
in the coming months,
I think, came out before that.
It's an interesting game because of the way we've gone about development. We showed it in Venice, which was 7 months ago now. It was sort of a brief introduction to the game. We've been working very hard on it since then. A lot of artwork has gone into the game. You saw the Dynasty screens there, for example. A lot of art power has gone into those. A lot of work's gone into creating the regional decisions. We haven't shown an awful lot of games since, so it's been very quiet. But pleasingly, we're now at a point where we are almost ready for beta. So today we are opening beta signups. And we expect the beta to be available within a few short weeks so that people will be able to play it in January.
Wow, January.
That sounds great. So anyone who wants to hop in the beta, feel free to sign up. We are looking for testers. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing more of the game. Neil, I really want to thank you for taking part in this presentation. I'm really sorry that you couldn't be with us today, but you know, there's always a time, and
me too.
Hopefully next time you will be able to get here.
Thanks,
Just
Neil.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Alberto.
Thank you, Neil. All right, so that's it for Field of Glory Kingdoms. We'll be back soon with more news about the game, so stay tuned. I just want to pass the ball back to Julia and the tea room, so we'll be back with more news very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Tea room.
And we are back here. Hello, everybody. I hope you're enjoying our live streaming. I'm here with Edmund, that you saw before playing with Master of Magic. Hello, Edmund.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
No pressure.
No pressure, of course. You must know that while we were here talking about great games, Edmund was there to read your comments, to answer to some of your questions, and also to collect some pretty interesting things that we will talk about now. Questions and also funny comments about our live streaming. First of all, the first question or better say, the first thing that one of our community members wrote was that regarding Master of Magic, he still have his printed manual.
Yeah, so you best hold on to that because...
Yes, the 9044 one, of course, 9094 one, of course.
Yeah, it's probably still about 95% accurate. So he's got the Prima strategy guide. You can still use it. So who knew you would keep getting value out of that 25 years later?
Wow, that's a great. That's wonderful. Also wonderful that he kept this manual for so long. And actually, Master of Magic is as old as I am. So great. And
I'm not touching that one, folks.
Also, speaking about Slitherine team that we are before, one of our member of the community told that this music he's making, he wants to visit a dinosaur-themed park.
Yeah. So when it comes to the Slitherine theme tune, we spared no expense.
And then a question I can answer. They asked where they can buy Master of Magic, which would have been the price. Of course, you can buy Master of Magic and all the other games released today, Sister of Battle and Adeptus Sororitas, on Steam and on our third-party store like GOG and so on. And so have a look on them to buy Master of Magic, and also on our website, of course. And you can also check for some interesting bundles. So have a look to Steam and our website to know more. And then another question, maybe Edmund can answer, that is about Warhammer. What improvements will come to planetary supremacy?
So we can't talk about what improvements are going to come just yet, but the development team, and they've also said this on our forums, they're going to make that a strong focus in the near future. So those of you who are holding out for more planetary supremacy action, it should be coming in the near future, so I hope you look forward to it.
Great, that's great. And then you also collect something one of our followers said about the Starship Troopers Terran Command. He wrote, "Sounds like a really good fun. Much love, Slitherine." Thank you, thank you. You made Starship Troopers franchise proud, in my opinion. That's something really huge. We are really happy about that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's they really focused on making the game fun. That was the thing, and it's a real love letter to the film. So it's great.
Starship
to hear
Troopers looking good.
Those kind of comments, because that's what the developers really
Hopefully
wanted
we
to
get much
achieve.
more.
And so to hear those comments really powers them along as they continue to add and improve the game.
Yes, that's great, great. Thank you, Ed, and thank you guys for following us. Keep following us, and to follow us on our social media channels, on our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere you can find us. And now I will pass the ball to the main stage. So we will see you later.
Main stage.
Bye-bye, Edmund.
Bye-bye.
Let's go with Ancient Arenas Chariots.
All right, new stuff. After this game, it is finally time for Broken Arrow. Finally. Big. Yeah, Broken Arrow is probably my most anticipated, but that headquarters game looks good.
I'm the world's biggest fan of Quadriga, so I'm super excited to be here with Patrick now.
Hello, thanks for having me today.
Patrick is running our studio over in Poland, in Warsaw, and so you're looking after Ancient Arenas and, of course, Stargate as well. Before we jump into the game,
Fast and Furious
tell you a couple of
Chariots,
things. Now, Ancient Arenas Chariots, of course, is a game that starts on the back of the success of Quadriga, and we've been working very hard to make it a very modern experience. And instead of just following on the original one, we're sort of try to bring it to the next level. And bringing it to the next level means that I think we've sort of noticed from the little intro trailer, that we're trying to make it fast-paced and super exciting. The chariot racing wasn't really boring, and somehow it wasn't a very strategic type of race. It was gritty. It was
Fire up them
fierce,
chariots, boys.
and it was super hard work for the Aurigas. So
that
what we
one
see
has
here is
4
the main art of the
horsepower.
game, and we've just put
That's a
together
lot of
with our,
horsepower for,
team in
you know,
Ukraine.
Roman
we
times.
What we're trying to achieve here is trying to give it a modern feel and also sort of take it to a NASCAR type of look and feel as well. Because that was the chariot racing at the time. It was very fierce and very hard and gritty as well. Lots of dead people, lots of injuries. It was a real sport, but it was not a sport that you would practice nowadays. Now, Patrick, what did you bring to us today?
So today I would like to show you footage of one of our game modes. It's called Quick Race. It's a game mode where we can set up everything from every kind of detail we want to do in the race. For example, we can choose the region where we're gonna race during this one particular race. It's a one-time race, and we can set up mostly everything. If we can see the footage.
Yeah, let's try and run the footage and see what you have brought to us.
Yes, so this is the main lobby of creating the quick race and for the start we choose one of 4 main regions. Regions differs between them with the pool of races that are available there. As we can see, races differs mostly in amount of lanes we have on the track. So here we're gonna choose Spain. It's one of my favorite regions because of unique visuals the Spain region has by itself. And I think we're going for the 4 lanes track. So that means we're gonna have 4 different chariots going one next to each other. We can set up how many laps we're gonna do during the race.
Obstacles.
Because sometimes in the fierce sport, which horse racing, chariot racing was, surviving is a key part. Also, here we can set up if we want to have some obstacles on the track, because not always the track was in the pristine quality.
What is an obstacle on the track?
It can be everything, like a puddle of water or maybe some kind of stones falling from the track itself, because they didn't usually take good care of it.
Okay.
So if we could pause a bit the video a little bit. We were picking as well if we want to play in the dynamic mode or a turn-based mode. In the turn-based mode, we play the game in the turns when at the end of the turn time stops, and in the dynamic mode, the time never slows so badly, so we have to make a quick decision. So here we have a footage of how we pick a chariot. There are a few different setups we can pick, and the differences between those setups are 2 major things. One of them is a set of skills that our Auriga has. Some of them are able to maybe crash into another chariot in the lane next to it. Others are able to whip the enemy horses to make them go faster, and some of them are able to be the fastest one driver on the track. So the other difference between them is the basic flat stats they have, how fast they will accelerate, how well they will brake, and how much damage will they actually do to the enemies while attacking them. So yeah, we decided to go with a setup that has that cool wolf pelt helmet. It's one of my favorites.
Dude, they just copied
so
pod racing. What the
why
hell?
Not? I will go with it.
Dude, they just copied Star Wars. What the hell?
Cannot go too fast. He cannot double whip the horses to make them go faster, but he's really good at attacking the enemies, which I will use later on in the gameplay. So when we choose our Auriga, we also choose the AI players that will take part during the race, and we are ready to go. So on the track, we are starting this race from the lines. We can see who are our opponents right here. We can see what is
dude, slash their tires. Slash their tires, dude.
This particular one outlined guy, here we are. And now I'm choosing the first order. It's we can see how far will I go.
Turn-based racing?
This one or this
the
one.
Hell?
Here I have a choice between the normal acceleration and whipping. Whipping is gonna take me more further and faster, but whipping your own horses may make them take damage. So I don't want that, and I will start with a regular acceleration. Here we can see that we have a dynamic camera. We can change angles of it. We can see everything from behind of our area. I will have fun a little bit with it to show you that you can adjust it however you want to capture the best moments. So after this, I have to make the decision because the corner, the curve is coming to us, and I have to decide if I want to accelerate to go faster, or maybe this time I will decide to take a fight because I cannot go left, I cannot go right, I cannot change the lane. So how about making it worse for my opponents? So I decided to whip my enemy because because the curve
now
is
we're
close,
entering
and
road
sometimes
rash
going
levels.
Too fast is not good for them. Oh, this time I slowed him down because I can decide if I want to make him faster, to make him maybe roll over on the curve, or make him slower this time. Yes, and now we are going to one of the most important decisions in the game. How do I want to play it on the curve? Because, as I said before, going too fast may cause me to roll over. I don't want it, so I've decided to pick a control stance, which allows me to control my horses, because when I go too fast, my horses might slip to the track next to me. And here I am again, stuck between two enemies. What I'm gonna do? I decided this time to slow down the right one because I'm faster than the chariot on my left. I eliminated the enemy on the right, and now I'm gonna do a little trick. I will try to block the enemy on the left. This way, he's not gonna, for sure, not gonna pass me in his next turn. But now I'm going really, really fast.
I mean, this is more interesting than it just being a straight-up just race game.
Inner lane of the track.
It's actually like a turn-based racing, which is actually
to go this fast on the track, but
well, especially since it has combat where you can like literally whip the dude next to you.
Is really needed, and I'm just taking a risky decision because I know that looking at the minimap, I can see that most of the competition is behind me, but there are these two guys that can catch up to me, and I'm
it's
trying
amazing how
to
some of
take
these games
that
work.
risky decision. Okay, let's go.
Never thought I'd see a game like this.
Track and I wish the best if I managed to survive it, and luckily I did it. My chariot got a little bit damaged. I lost a little bit of my speed, but that was the risk I took in order to gain advantage over the enemies. Now, I tried to block my enemy again, but he was smart and decided to go to the track on the left. So my decisions are, he's going fast, I need to block him again. And this time, again, I managed to do this. He's whipping his horses, but because of me blocking him, he's not able to pass me. So yeah, I was trying to catch some cool views with our dynamic camera. It's one of the features I really like because catching the cool moments
ancient
is
NASCAR.
What we like in the racing, and why don't we do this in our way of racing with the Chariots? So this guy really decides to pass me. So this time I need to take a risky moment again. And this is one of my favorite moments of this footage. We can see me going on the curve, really bouncing a little bit to the right, trying to hold on as much as I can. And with this move, I will ensure that I will be the first one. That's the one 2 more straights, and the eternal glory is ours. Right now, I'm trying to, that's my favorite tactic actually, to block the enemy way so they won't be able to go past me, because he's going faster than me, because he picked up the setup that it's much faster than mine. So I have to use some tactics in order to block him, don't let him to pass me. He was forced to go outside, so it's really good for me, because going outside, most outside circle, makes him go a much longer way than it's gonna be with me. So once again, taking the curve this time is much safer, because this is not the most inner one. And the final straight for me, Eternal Glory, just in a 2 more moves, is ours. The public is cheering for us. We are whipping horses a little bit just to make it much faster.
We win.
And victory.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool. Patrick, I will tell you one thing. It's really looking exciting, and I
Broken
have to
Arrow.
say, it's really
It's coming.
cool to see the AI working
This is it.
against you. But you know, that
It's
is
coming.
one question, and you know that's the most important one. What you're working on for multiplayer?
Yes, the multiplayer, we will have the multiplayer implemented. We will be able to race with our friends, just as I raced with AI right now. We can set up everything we want, every detail of the race we want, and we can create our own, I don't know, league even. If we want to race with our friends, takes a note, everybody agrees to certain setups, and we can race with them.
All right. Well, that's great. And how far are we from the end of the development cycle? Take a guess.
Take a guess. I believe in the next year, at the beginning, we will try to do some testing. So, yeah, in the next year, beginning of the next year, the game will be there to test it, and in the future, soon.
So beta testing coming soon for Ancient Arenas Chariots. It's a really exciting game, something that goes a little bit outside of the boundaries of our traditional games, but I'm really excited about it. So good luck also for Slitherine in Poland and all the new exciting adventures that you have ahead of you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we're going to have Broken Arrow coming next. So we're going
What?
Horse chariot racing to something a bit more modern and contemporary. I can see Felix waiting on the other side of the room. So without further ado, let's take a look at Broken Arrow.
Well, at least this game wasn't like hold W to win, you know. Just like race as quickly as possible, but actually has some strategy. All right, this is it. Broken Arrow. It's happening. If you stop watching now, you're gonna miss it all. Big moment incoming. Big moment incoming. One's in the chat. Let's go. This is it.
And welcome back with Broken Arrow. I'm here with a special guest, Felix Haber.
Hello.
So many of you might remember when we showcased the Broken Arrow last year, we had an amazing response, such an amazing feedback. There is so much anticipation about the game. So my first question, Felix, how is development going? So what can we expect to see next, and where we're at with development?
Well, actually, it's going really well. We've made a lot of progress since last year. We have almost all our gameplay mechanics ready at the moment, and we have almost all the maps as well. We are now working on well, improving the UI, the user experience with the interface. Well, the things that are left to do are to work on the improvement of the performance of the game, the multiplayer performance and stuff like this. This summer we have conducted a multiplayer playtest with our Patreon members.
Ooh.
So they have been able to put their hands on the game for a bit more than a week. They have tested a basic multiplayer situation, and this was an important milestone for us because this was the first time people external to the studio had their hands on the game, and so
losing to a technical issue.
You're losing parts.
Yes.
So yeah, it's an important milestone for us because we wanted. Well, we had feedback from them, and the feedback was really positive. So this has reassured us that we were in the right direction. So we continue to work in this direction, and yeah, so that's where we are now.
Good.
And finally, I think we can announce that everybody will be able to play a demo version of the game in the following months. So I'm not telling too much now. There will be more information coming early next year. So yeah, that's where we are. You ready?
Yes, I finally fixed my microphone. Sorry guys, dangers of a live show. But yeah, we fixed this. You know, it's like game development sometimes. This happens. All right, so without further ado, what are we going to show today?
So first we are going to show a small trailer video.
Oh, here we go.
About, this is the first video of a series of 8 videos we're making about deck specializations. So deck specializations.
Deck specialization.
Let's go back to what they are.
Armored, infantry,
one important part
support.
of the game is the army building part, where you select units that you will use during the battle, and the type of units, the roster of unit that will be available to you depends on the specializations that you have selected. So the first one is the U.S. Marine Corps that we will present right now.
So let's watch it.
Hell yeah, brother! Marines coming ashore. Stay crispy, Marines. Wait, who the hell's are you? Oh, right. I'm not sure there's many of those guys left anymore. For some reason. Beautiful. Troops coming ashore. I think I'm going to have to make a... this is all new. I've not seen this particular trailer before. With the Marines specifically. We've seen troops coming ashore, but not specifically this footage. Definitely going to be making a video on this separately. Ooh, nice looking smoke rounds there. Yeah, unfortunately, YouTube's bitrate is absolute trash. Oh, nice mortars. Yeah, scenario editor will be coming to this too, which is needed. I love those massive buildings, man. That's very World in Conflict. I hope we actually get to be able to occupy those buildings and It'd be cool if the bigger the building, the more troops you get to put in there to like lock down a sector or something. Or like an intersection. Oh, it'd be really cool to launch ATGM out of a window. Oh, they accidentally, I think they hit their own building. Oops. Oops. There's more to come. There. Yeah, we played tons of other strategy. I don't know, Warno didn't really grab me as much because it wasn't a complete game yet. And they're adding new stuff to it all the time, but what I want is a campaign. But yeah, there's plenty of like Call to Arms on the channel. Men of War is just too old now. It's just too clunky and inefficient to make videos on, and it just crashes all the time. Call to Arms is much more stable. But I wanted something. I want more competitors in the modern combat space, or the modern RTS, because just having Warno isn't really enough. So Broken Arrow plus Warno, and maybe we can get something else. Company Heroes 3 is coming along, but you know, that's World War II, and modern stuff means new modern options, which is cool. I think they're having technical issues. This isn't over yet. I think they may have hit their own building with that airstrike. Trying to get things back online. There we go.
So we're back. I believe Broken Arrow broke Twitch.
Oh, Twitch
so, yeah,
went
more like
down.
broken Twitch. But yeah, allegedly we're now back live on Twitch. I really would like to see the comments in the chat now. I bet they're going crazy with anticipation.
False alarm.
Yes.
There's no game.
Sorry. But no, yeah, actually,
there we go.
If we're about to show you the video, let's get back to it. So let's give it another shot.
Oh, a new video? Or is this the... All right, we'll pretend we haven't seen this before. All right, guys, new trailer that we totally haven't seen moments ago. Wow, the Uskum. What is that? A new faction unknown. All right, that's really cool, though, that the troops actually load up into the Osprey from the carrier deck. That's frickin' sweet. I mean, I love all the parts of the game. Like, the mechanics and the gameplay are all good. I want to know what, you know, like what we get for a campaign and what we get for, like, multiplayer. I could picture what that's going to be. You got your capture mode, your destruction mode, maybe a couple of cool modes where it's like defend the beach. Maybe the defender gets to set up some defenses before the enemy attacks or something. You had a phone call and missed stuff. What did you miss? Basically this. They're running the trailer again because their Twitch stream went down, so. But this is just showing off the United States Marine Corps faction. lot of explosions going on. Another thing I don't like about playing RTS games like this is that the explosions and the smoke and stuff are so beautiful, but when you're so focused on like trying to win and you're zoomed out all the time, everybody wants you to zoom in, but that's not how battles are fought in an RTS. What, did Twitch go down again? You gotta be kidding me. Okay. Look, Bezos, cut a check for Twitch so they can get their internet back online. What's going on? Get rid of one of the super yachts and please stop with the ads over on Twitch. They probably got... Come on, man. What's going on? Their Twitch stream is going down. That's the problem. Well, let me check their Twitch channel. But hold on. Wait, I got to watch an ad first. I complain about YouTube, but... Oh, dude, there's... Oh, some of my favorite people are playing Ixion. Oh, that's awesome. Ixion's so cool. Some of my favorite streamers on Twitch are playing Ixion today. I'm so jealous. So jealous. Wait, I don't think that's them. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, their Twitch went down. Ah, oh, come on. Exclamation point schedule. Alright, well, maybe we'll get to see a third trailer.
Alright, so we're back. Sorry for these technical issues. They tell me that it's related to Twitch server issues, so it's not even up to us, but yeah, we're in the process of finding a solution. Apparently, we were live anyway on YouTube and Facebook, so that should be fine. I'm not sure if everyone was able to look at the video, but we're looking into showing it to you as soon as possible. In the meantime, I believe that we have some screenshots to share with you from the trailer, from the new US Marines units, and I wanted to ask you to elaborate a bit more on the Marines specialization and the different units that they can have in Broken Arrow.
Yep. So generally,
damn you, Twitch, bringing everyone down.
Is very versatile specializations. They are much more specialized, but we will reveal them later. They have, so I go category by category of the deck. So we have in the recon, well, let's go by screenshot in that case. So this is a V22 Osprey. That will be in the helicopter section. This is a very fast helicopter because it has tilting rotors. It can bring these troops on the battlefield, like it can transport infantry to the battlefield. This is the fastest in the game. So if you need to make an early deployment, this is the helicopter to go. So other helicopters that are present for the Marines, we have the series of the H1, so the latest version, which are more like the H1W, which is the Super Cobra, and H1Z, the latest version, which is the Viper Cobra, well, Viper, period. And so these helicopters, they can be equipped with different loadouts. You will select not pylons per pylons, but per symmetrical pairs of pylons. What you put on them, so it can be rocket pods, 70mm Hydra rocket pods. in the unguided version, also in the guided version, which is called by the nice nickname of APKWS. And you can also put the Hellfire missile in them, so it's a top attack anti-tank missile. And depending on the version of the Cobra, you will have some extra flares or countermeasures that you can install on it, and eventually some M9 based missiles, so either anti-air missiles or also the AGM-122, so the sidearm anti-radiation missile. So
anti-radiation
we have these kind of
missile.
helicopters. We also have heavy transport helicopters like the CH-53 King Stallion, so the K version. There are also lighter helicopters for recon. You have the UH-1 series in its latest version, the Venom. So it's much lighter. You can put just a few rockets, miniguns on the side port eventually. So that's approximately it for helicopters. As you can see, it's a lot of variation. You have small, big, heavy transport.
Oh, you use. Oh, I see.
Can carry vehicles.
What do they call those? Seed?
They can sling vehicles on the battlefield. And in addition to that, so the Marines, they use LAV-25 type of vehicle. So it's the recon vehicle of the Marines with a 25 millimeter Bushmaster autocannon. They also have very specific transport, like currently the screenshot is a AVP-7. So it's like a big battle barge with full of Marines. It's an amphibious vehicle. Yeah, by the way, amphibious is the specialty of the Marines.
Of course.
I didn't mention that. But
yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we have amphibious capability in the game, and the Marines are really the best at that. Mm-hmm. We also have the replacement of this vehicle, which is a wheeled vehicle, and the name is escaping me. I think it's the ACV, Armored Combat Vehicle, I think.
Well, I'm pretty sure that some fans in the chat can...
Yeah, they will correct me or stuff like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the ACV because there is 30, so ACV, there's the basic new battle barge version, but there's also one with the 30 millimeter turret that can be installed on top. So that's quite an upgrade for this vehicle. So these are the main transport. You also have trucks and stuff like that. I won't go in the details of absolutely every unit.
Yeah.
And they transport with infantry. So what kind of infantry does the Marine Corps bring? They have mainly the backbone of this specialization is the Marine Rifle Squad, which is a 30-man rifle squad equipped with M27 rifles, plus Carl Gustav and, well, designated marksman rifle and stuff like this. So, but mainly like the new rifle that they got recently, plus the Carl Gustav. We also have more specialized units for that. So the guy carrying the small rocket launcher, so a smaller squad with dedicated to support, like it's both anti-tank and anti-infantry rockets. So you're a bit of a glass cannon with this guy. Less people, but much more firepower. And then all the support stuff that you can get usually. And interesting enough, yeah, also the recon is quite good for them. You have, well, dedicated infantry recon with the Marines Force Recon. We also have the Scout Sniper as a unit, which is super stealthy. People imagine the sniper as the killing machines, but generally in practice it's not. You just have a good rifle, but just a rifle. So when you're fighting tanks and stuff like that, the role of the sniper is mostly to stay as stealthy as possible, sneak in the enemy lines, use laser designation to point bombs or missiles very precisely on the unit to ensure first shot kill on them. And once again, I mentioned the LAV-25, which is in the recon section. We also have an interesting drone in this with the Fire Scoot. It's a little drone, unmanned helicopter that is used for recon. And we also have the Triton or Triton, I don't know how it's pronounced in English, sorry.
Probably Triton. I don't know, I'm not sure though.
Which
Yeah,
is
probably
like
Triton.
much more high altitude drone, an arm that is really here to give you information on battlefield. And finally,
I hope we actually get to
interesting,
command the
category for
ships
the
and move them
USMC
around a little bit.
Is the number of planes they have, because in fact for the USMC we have also added some units of the US Navy to them because it fitted very well together. And so you have the US Marines planes, so the old Harrier planes that are currently being replaced. You have the F-35 to F-35B in the case of the USMC that is replacing the Harrier. So
Mod
the
support,
stealth
yeah,
fighter
that'd be
because
good.
Vertical takeoff.
Especially for
Marines
making
don't
maps
have,
and making more interesting
aircraft
battlefields.
carrier, they just
I think
have
that's the first thing to get
generally
boring is
helicopter carriers,
not
so
necessarily the
they need a
units and the
plane that is
equipment,
able
but
to
the
take
landscapes
off
and where you fight,
vertically
including
or
like
very
weather.
short runway.
You know, are we
And
fighting in the autumn or
so
the spring?
We have added a few more
Summer,
planes
winter?
because that was a bit meager
We're
for them.
fighting
so
in
we
a
have some Navy planes. So
big
we
town?
have the Hornet, which are Marines
Or coastline?
planes starting from bases or from carriers. But we also have the Super Hornet, so the biggest version of the F-18 that is normally used by the Navy, plus the different version of the Super Hornet, like the Growler, which is a seed plane, so suppression of enemy air defense or destruction of enemy air defense. So it's a plane dedicated to the destruction of enemy anti-air. So a bit of a counter to the counter. And we have, speaking of the Navy SEALs, which are I guess that was a good addition to them. And yeah, that's it. Oh no, I forgot support. In support we have stuff like, let's start from the basic. We have the LAV M for mortar, so 80 millimeter mortar on a LAV platform. We also have the LAV AD. This one is a prototype that never made it into production, but we included.
Yep.
We included it.
They do
anyway
this
because it was working. It was in testing phase. It just got cut because of budgetary reason. So LAV AD, it's a LAV platform with I think it's.
This is usually what
Gatling gun plus
these
8,
RTS games will do, where like
Stinger missiles,
they'll put
so
in prototypes, which is actually kind of cool.
It's a SHORAD
Then
platform.
it makes things a little bit
that
more
that
diverse.
the Marines will have. And in terms of artillery, we have the HIMARS that got a lot of publicity recently. Plus we have ground-launched Tomahawk also that are very interesting to play. So it's cruise missile, ground skimming, sea skimming, and ground skimming missile that will be able to follow the ground while staying low to avoid enemy air defense and to strike wherever you want on the map, as long as the enemy doesn't have some SHORAD of its own to intercept it.
Sounds great. I mean, that's a lot of units for one single specialization, and there are 8 of them. And as you were mentioning before, the customization system is incredibly deep. So there's such an amount of content in the game. But yeah, you know, those screenshots are really good, but people are still waiting. Some people are still waiting to watch the actual video. So I believe that you are now ready to give it another try. So shall we try again?
Third time's a charm.
Yay! New footage. Wait, are we seeing the same trailer for the third time? Oh, mother. I mean, honestly, I don't mind seeing it a third time. Everything looks nice, even though it's in 144p YouTube. Bro, how are streaming platforms charging more than ever, playing more ads than ever, and then they're absolute garbage? Like, you can't even get a 1080p stream in 2022. Like, this is how things looked in 2016. Like, this was HD, and you'd be like, whoa, the graphics! Well, I want to make my own single-player missions. It seems cool to be able to set up to do PvE stuff where you have a, well, you know, like how it is with Arma. In some of the scenarios there. Yeah, World in Conflict vibes. Yep. Yeah, I'm seeing this. I mean, this certainly looks a lot like a war game in many ways, but with all these big buildings and inner city fighting, I get more vibes of World in Conflict than... I mean, you know, when I see all the stuff coming ashore, it certainly looks like war game, but then, boom, right into World in Conflict. And World in Conflict is probably my most favorite of all time.
And we're back.
Yay.
So we couldn't see the comments from the chat, but I can only imagine that they are going crazy.
Yeah, dude, they're spamming
Felix
ones in the chat right now.
Spoke a lot about the Marines units. So as you could see in the video, the game is getting there, and those were the Marines. So we have 7 more videos like that planned in order to show you
no,
the
not
other
planned. Do now.
Specializations available in Broken Arrow.
Do now.
But that's not all that we want to show you today, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely not. This was just the starter.
Yeah, that was the starter. We have the main course coming because we have a 35 minutes gameplay video, so it's really real
35
gameplay.
minutes
we
of
recorded
gameplay?
ourselves playing, not a trailer this time, so you will have the occasion to see the real thing, get your opinion on that.
Yes, it's an adulterated single-player mission from the single-player campaign. So, before we watch it, what can you tell us about this mission?
Well, I think we can start rapidly. Generally, it's a mission with the Marines, so you will see them in action. All the units that have, well, maybe not all of them, or at least a big
35 minutes of a single-player mission, frickin' pog.
You will see them in action, see how the playing works and plays, and I think we will comment over the video when something's interesting happening.
Yes.
You do not hesitate to ask questions.
Yes, of course.
I'm here to answer. We'll do that.
All right, so let's start the video and let's watch this single-player mission. So, what can you tell us? What are we looking at right now?
All right. So, well, first thing to mention is that this entire mission has been made with the mission editor, the scenario editor that will be shipped with the game. So everything you see, the camera movements, the cutscene, spoiler.
Wow, it's like World in Conflict.
With the scenario editor. So as a player, you will be able to do that. And also, second disclaimer, as you can see, there are still work in progress elements.
There are some placeholders, but that's fine.
We don't have the voiceover because we record that at the very end, so everything will be voiced.
This is so World in Conflict. I love it.
In the game.
So what is the tactical scope of this mission? What is the player going to achieve, and what are the objectives of this mission?
So, you're forcing me to spoil a bit. The situation is the following. So you have the main Marines force that are waiting, that are in fact willing to land to make a shore assault on this on the peninsula that you can see in the background. The problem is that there is a coastal artillery battery that is preventing them from approaching with the ships, with the landing crafts. So your mission is to destroy this artillery battery. But since it would be very simple to send just send the planes and bomb it, except that's not so simple. There is an anti-air battery protecting the artillery battery. So what's happening is that a group of reconnaissance and infiltration has been sent on the other side of the peninsula to take out the anti-air first. And once it's done, this is the goal. This is the moment to send the main fleet. Once the anti-air and the artillery have been destroyed. So for the moment, it's a mission that is rather early in the campaign, so we're still bringing the players slowly to the mastering of a full big army of troops. So here you start with a few units on a small area, and your objective is to progress through the different building, to move from building to building to get your way through your objectives. And so what this mission is teaching is urban combat here at this moment. You are facing, there was a tank that was just destroyed.
Yeah, this is definitely like World in Conflict, like literally fighting house to house where two houses are fighting with each other.
It's completely suicidal to go head-on with a tank, with infantry transports.
I hope they send us this file to download, because if they just show like 30 minutes of just gameplay and that's it, and just be like, hey, here's our game.
You can also help these by.
Also, it looks like they're watching a replay. Like in the upper right corner, it looks like there's a fast forward reverse button.
Well, they're also doing it now.
Maybe not, because there's controls.
The debris of the building.
But I'll be honest, this YouTube quality is absolute trash, and it's pretty much on YouTube, honestly, because like they're at least streaming in 1080p, and it certainly ain't 1080p. This is like 360 or lower.
Using the line of sight.
But anyway, this looks. I'm already like, wow, like this is great. Infantry's going through the woods. Infantry's going through buildings.
Stuff like that to gain.
Look at the portraits for all the units and stuff that pop up here.
But that's not always.
That's amazing. Up in the upper left.
Always possible. So in this case, you have artillery, so like the mortar that can bring smoke rounds on a position to break the line of sight even more. And the units themselves, they have like defensive smoke that can be used. You see it used again in the middle of the street to block the line of sight and let the unlucky vehicle that took a hit anyway try to go through without being hit.
Well, you know, sometimes things don't go according to plan.
Yeah, as you know. And so that's the first part of this mission. So you can see it's infantry progressing from building to building with artillery support, vehicle fire support are also here. You can see here there is a javelin being used. So top attack missile, it goes in the air and arrives from the top on the vehicle to inflict the maximum damage.
Great War Western Front, yeah. It's a good year for RTSs.
Orientated armor. Generally, the vehicles have more armor on the front, less on the side, even more on the rear.
Yes.
And the top is pretty much inexistent most of the time.
Well, look, it looks like here it says 10 out of 32, so it looks like there could be a limit for number of groups in a building.
Really, it hits the vehicle on
like
the
this
top,
says 11
so
out of 32, so I'm assuming you could put more Marines in there.
They can have. So
like this says there's 6 troops in there, and then it says 6 out of 32, so maybe you could put up to 32 men in a building?
I have a question for you. Of course, Broken Arrow has a degree of realism.
But maybe the game just has like small building,
what can you tell us about
medium building, large building. Maybe not every building has its own number. I'm not sure.
What kind of realism
but this looks phenomenal.
Players expect from Broken Arrow?
Well, clearly, this is not a simulation. People expecting a simulation will be disappointed. We're not making a simulation. We're making a game that has a realistic setting. These are all real vehicles, real weapons that are put against each other. But this remains a fictional war that we're doing, a fictional conflict, because, in fact, even simply with the list of units that you have, you can have units that have been retired today. Like, oh, I forgot to talk about it earlier, but for instance, the tanks of the Marines, you have the M1A1 Abrams in its latest version, like AVP, HC, stuff like this. But we also included the M60, the old M60 Patton tank, so in the latest variant, of course, but this tank was retired after the Desert Storm in the 90s. So we have side-by-side units that have been retired today, units that are prototypes that were tested but cancelled for generally for financial reasons. and also some units, some vehicles, some weapons that don't yet that haven't yet been accepted into service. They are currently being tested or currently being produced. I mentioned like the ground launch Tomahawk. This is something like that is being developed at the moment, like 2 Tomahawks on a unmanned GLTV platform. So this remains a fantasy war in a realistic setting.
Well,
we
how
have
about that, brother?
included all these elements because one of the core of the game is to give the creative tool to the player with the scenario editor, and we want people to be able to create what they want. If they want to create a simulation with only the vehicles that were available this year, they can do it. They use what they want. If someone wants to make something really crazy with which like having units side by side that never met each other, this is possible too. Each person will really choose in fact the level of realism they want to put in their scenario. And for us, we are avoiding the most blatant anachronism, but we are not making a historical game. We're not trying to tell a period of history. We are not making a simulation game, even if we have a lot of elements that are very accurate in the game. This is a bonus. This is not our objective. Our final objective is not this perfect accuracy. We want to put the gameplay first. We want to have a game that is enjoyable to play, that is beautiful. These things are really important to us.
That sounds great. All right, so while we're talking about this, the scenarios continuing, what can you tell us about what's happening on screen?
So right now, we skipped a bit the mission, sorry. So what happens?
Oh, damn, they're crossing the canal. That's cool.
The surface to aim
Everybody's hopping back in.
Destroyed, so the player now get access to helicopters because they won't be shot down in the distance. And it's not me playing, the guy. When I mention he, it's the person playing. So he's using the helicopter to snipe the artillery with a Hellfire missile.
Nice.
He could have used an airstrike.
I love how this is not as grand scale as War Game.
An assault with the amphibious troops through the
But it feels like it could
really
be.
It's really.
It seems like this scales really well.
You can see here the countermeasures on the helicopters, because in the game basically if you're being shot at by a missile and you don't do anything, generally the missile will hit. There is very little probability that you
Oh wow, that was a fast cap.
Be able to avoid it, unless you have special jammers or stuff like that on your vehicle that will change this. But generally, if you're being shot at, you will be hit. But there are elements like the flares, the countermeasures of the helicopters that will allow you to shift the advantage, to shift that to your advantage and make the missile miss. But of course, these elements are limited in the number of use, so that basically once you're out of countermeasures, you'd better be away from the enemy air defense, because that will be a bad situation for you.
By the way, I really wanted to mention one element of map design in this specific map that we're looking at. You can see that the map was built with a few landmarks in mind. For instance, here we're seeing a star fort dating a few centuries back, I guess, which was aimed at protecting the harbor, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's really cool that you get to fight around a historical landmark like this.
Yeah, we're basing our maps on real places on Earth to get this good level of realism with them.
Yeah, it seems good. The city design is nice. Like it
choosing
seems like a city, not necessarily designed for
like here
a battlefield.
It's a big harbor with the containers, the depot, or well, I don't know how it's called. The place where you put all the containers, storage, I guess. Container storage area with the cranks to put them in the ships and stuff. We select places that really matter at the scale of the map.
Yes.
Because well, the fort, it's nice. It remains a small thing. The harbor, it's it's better, it's big, and we have all the stuff like this, like power plants, we have airport, stuff like that.
Refineries.
I wonder if the Twitch stream is any better. I looked on Twitch and it looked just as bad.
On the map, they are the map, and that was important to.
Let me check Twitch.
Yeah, to have maps that, if players have to play and say, oh, let's play on the map with the refinery, they don't have to learn the name or whatever. Everybody will instantly understand what they're talking about.
Gotta wait 45 minutes though for Twitch ads to play.
With the river, with the trees and the roads, that's not so so good.
Well, it's a gimmick, you know. Each map has one. But
they can be one like that. If you have 20 maps like this, it's not very cool.
Okay.
Here, what you see, it's an airstrike. So you've seen the interface. The planes have been selected. The player has defined a strike area. You can define the length, the orientation. So here it's a short strike, so the bombs will land precisely. But if you drag and drop further, the bomb will be spreaded along all this area, and you can orientate it.
So it's basically the same thing.
If you want your planes to make their attacks coming from one side rather than head-on in the enemy air defense, you can do that. And you will see, here they come. You have your strike. So, well, the objective here was to
which is looking just
building,
as bad.
It's a really tall building, large. So these are smaller bombs. It's 250 kilograms. So they're
Twitch
not
and
big
YouTube, man,
enough
with
to
the
destroy,
streams.
but you will see later in the video, there is building destruction, and the bigger the building, the more resilient it is. And also, the more troops you can put into it, like this one, you can have up to 64 guys inside, which means that you can put different squads and mix them all together in this building. And this system works for vehicles too, actually, because let's say you have a giant helicopter. Let's take the biggest helicopter of all. It's the Mi-26, the Russian giant helicopter that can carry other helicopters. You can put more than 100 people in this helicopter. So if we were limited to a single squad inside of this helicopter, that would be totally a waste. We have a system of slot of infantry emplacements, and as long as you have free slots in the vehicle, you can put more troops.
This is just.
If there are
honestly, this is
and
unwatchable.
People in a squad, this is taken into account. So let's say you have 20 slots in a vehicle. You have 2 squads of 13 Marines. If they have taken casualties, and you have after that a squad of 9, squad of 10, that would be 19 people.
You can put both.
Yeah, you can put both in the vehicle.
That's really nice.
But man, I want them to send me this footage or put it up somewhere publicly, because
taken for granted, because not all games do that.
I want to watch this.
So here, once again, done with the editor, it's a cutscene. So you had the fade to black. Once again, you script the fade to black. You script that you launch a cutscene. So this is a recorded video. This is an extra. You can record and extract from the trailer that is in there. This will be
if you want to see all the pretty graphics, just look over here.
You play your
but I'll be
phase,
honest though, this is this is really.
You have cleaned a bit the script in the back to create the new situation.
Really looking like it's. I can't believe how it's looking more like World in Conflict than it is War Game, and I love that.
To the players.
Like this certainly is War Game, heavily War Game, but it almost feels.
It's a double duel.
More.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah,
because the combat in World in Conflict was so intimate, like going from building to building, and
so air-to-air combat.
It just felt more like you were fighting street to street, house to house, rather than just over a massive blank map with some villages.
We have some missing elements, but the key elements of the air combat is so you can see in the buttons on the right when the plane is selected, you have the possibility to switch the altitude. You have the possibility to activate the afterburner, and you have bombing, striking, stuff like this. And you see here this plane is changing altitude, for instance, and the afterburner is a way to go faster.
Oh yeah.
At the cost, which is consuming more fuel because
they have special abilities too, just like in World in Conflict. So aircraft can use a special ability like the afterburner.
Fuel gauge of this plane.
Just like how you could use a defensive and offensive ability in World in Conflict, like popping smoke or using like a
evacuate automatically, but you also have the possibility to override that. And
a Sabo round or whatever.
Don't evacuate. Stay on the battlefield until the end. Imagine you're in the middle of a dogfight and you're running out of fuel in 30 seconds. Well, I don't care. if you go away from the turning fight, you will lose. So
they need to give me this footage. I'm making a video. This is so damn exciting to see all these hovercraft coming in.
The plane will be lost. And the interesting part
I mean, this honestly is what I wanted from World in Conflict 2 would be just like a bigger scale, but still feel like World in Conflict, and that's just, I'm all about that, man.
And if you manage to bring back the pilot to the spawn point, which represents your base, you will get a refund for some of the cost of the plane. So finishing the fight at the cost of the plane is not totally.
So they sent me an email about Broken Arrow just now. I'm looking on my phone. They have sent the Marine Corps video, which was basically just that like 1 minute footage of the Marines coming ashore with all the equipment and stuff, but and a link to the store page, but not this. They need to showcase this. This is good.
Let's send helicopters to save this guy and get the money back.
Like if this is mission 1, this is pretty.
A dynamic that is based on your performance in the air fight. Okay, so here, what you must do. The enemy fighters have been shut down. There are waves of strike fighters that are being sent to try to shoot at the LCACs. So landing craft.
That is amazing.
So the ships carrying the vehicles to the shore. So you escorted them and you make a little.
Yeah, the dogfighting looks great.
Nice.
A little show-off flyby next to them. So yeah.
Really cool. Yeah, some of those shots are really looking great.
Yeah, and by the way, you can see so the camera can be either free like this, like you move it with the arrow keys or WSD, whatever you want.
No.
But it can also be attached to a unit. So during the air fight,
this is just like an enhanced World in Conflict. It's just great.
The unit automatically.
I can't even see what's going on. Oh my god.
You can move around.
Where are we seeing this from?
It's also possible,
so Slitherine, who's the publisher of this game, Broken Arrow, is live streaming their event right now, where they're showcasing all these games from their next event. And so it's on YouTube and it's on Twitch. Both live, but it's absolute mud. Like this is as high as it'll go. This is
Everything will
YouTube.
be uploaded later on YouTube, so no worries.
I mean, I could imagine them at least streaming this in 1080p. I wouldn't imagine them doing anything less.
Weren't able to see,
but whatever.
No worries, guys.
This doesn't do this game justice. Anybody watching this video or live stream later on in the comment section, don't even bother with the whole looks crap, you know, whatever, the video quality, whatever. That's disrespectful to Broken Arrow. We need to get an actual HD video file from Broken Arrow. And I want to put up a super HD video on the channel and be like, this is...
There is a peninsula that is in front of us.
I don't really care about the graphics. That's not really a good argument. But the detailing on how like diverse the vegetation looks, with how many different buildings there are, and how this big city looks like a big city by having big buildings in the big city, that's amazing. And I mean, this looks more world... the gameplay scale feels like World in Conflict. I mean...
So it's.
I can't believe it.
The scope of the battle is increasing. You have much more units. Here, this is what I.
Oh yeah, the scope of the battle is increasing a bit.
You take the helicopters, you go grab the pilots, you send the helicopters.
But this feels exactly like how World in Conflict did.
And you get
this is just awesome
for everybody. So this is creating this kind of micro objective, like that is nice to see.
Yeah. I totally agree.
So yeah, so upon landing we have taken some multiple rocket fire from the enemy, which was not not a very warm welcome. So we're
that looked very impressive, by the way.
Yeah, it's like 40 rockets times number of MLRS shooting at you. That's quite a high number of explosions.
Yes.
So progression. You can see once again the smoke being used. The tanks are being threatened by enemy helicopters. So you pop the smoke to be able to break the line of sight, get away from them. And here it's really combined arms. You see, you have the infantry progressing through the village from
garrisoning buildings,
house.
which is super cool with ATGMs and stuff.
Providing fire support.
Like, I think it was
at the same
rare
time, you have the anti-air units that are here to protect
War game to
everyone
even
from
see a building that was like more than 2 stories.
Here, what's happening is
well, there were like 2 or 3 story houses, but
you can destroy
there was never any
artillery battery that has been
like large apartment buildings or anything like that.
And for that, you can use the Tomahawk missile. That
Everything felt like you were fighting over villages. This is an actual city.
That is that is in the background. So this is the sea skimming, land skimming missile.
Nice.
Passing above the buildings, following the ground, and at the end crashing in the. It's the equivalent of.
Oh, do we get to call on special abilities from the destroyer out there? That would be amazing.
Being very dangerous.
That was one of the greatest things about World in Conflict too, was the off-map support. You'd get like cruise missiles or artillery, mortars, smoke. Aircraft would come in with napalm or cluster bombs.
So here we go. One more salvo of missiles to
yeah, there's ships out there, and it looks like they
had enough.
Firing off. I don't know if it's a mission thing or if it's a thing we can call in.
Here we're starting. So we've been in a suburb. We've been going through the village. Now we're starting to enter the big building. It will be really a building-to-building fight. Infantry is really important.
Yeah, there was tactical nukes in World in Conflict. It was a big part of the campaign.
There are a lot of buildings, a lot of big things. It's really important to position your infantry right, to cover it, to move from one position to the next. You have an ability that you see being used from time to time on infantry, which is a sprint. So you have the possibility to momentarily increase your running speed at the cost of not being able to shoot on the move. And this allows you.
How long does this sprint last?
Well, several seconds. I don't know yet.
The troops get a sprint ability to do this. Is heavily World in Conflict.
It's not limited in use because you catch up your breath after a minute or two, and you.
I mean, this is like more of an enhanced World in Conflict than it is a war game.
What can happen is that you see when the units are getting hit, you see the label.
Yeah, this is an instant buy for me too.
Starting to flash yellow or red. This is the stress mechanic. So basically when a unit has taken a lot of damage.
Does YouTube still suppress these sort of games? Yeah, interestingly enough, they take a stance on violent video games, but if you wanted to watch footage on current situations, they don't.
The infantry runs and shoot.
Well, let's just say they don't suppress. They just
then catch up with the squad.
If you don't get promoted by YouTube, then it's suppression.
And
as in, if they can't make money off of it, they get mad. And they just bail on it, on to the next thing.
To move more
but so you mean like under fire?
Yeah, it looks like the big buildings could have 64 units in them. That's cool. There's like a large mall there.
Like a yellow level of suppression, where they're starting to go more slowly, to crouch a bit more. So they gain a bonus of defense for hiding themselves. They make themselves smaller targets, so it's harder to kill them.
Oh
but
man!
On the other hand, they also lose speed.
Yeah.
And on the
They're
final
coming in with
level, the red level
bombing run, or is it a
crawling on the ground, so losing really a lot of speed. Once again, making themselves
ATGMs?
a smaller target, so they are harder to.
Oh
hit.
Yeah. I can't tell what.
Basically, if
Rocket
you're
Run?
in the middle of a street and crawling, that's over for you. It's it's no use to try to protect. Oh, the camera almost
Bro.
got a missile in the face.
The footage from 1991 in Baghdad is better than
See
this.
the camera going down.
If the player gets hit by a missile, it's all guys. Sorry.
91 Baghdad is better than YouTube right now.
So yeah, so when they're crawling in the middle of the streets, it's not really useful to stay there. You will be shot anyway. It will just take a bit
Yeah, of course.
longer.
Makes sense.
So you have these smoke grenades that are here to, okay, let's block the line of sight of the enemy, and you have the sprint, which can be used defensively as well. Like, okay, we are... I was going to say to swear.
Oh, but please don't. We try to
We are
keep
in a
this
very
like
bad situation here, guys. And so we must get out of here. So pop the smoke, the sprint button that allows you to momentarily.
Is it literally the same?
And go back to a safe position. Where
I see no difference between these two images at all.
And go back to the assault.
Bro, you got Bernard Shaw reporting live from Baghdad, 1991. There's no differences.
Brought by the helicopters. This is creating the white circle on the ground.
YouTube sucks.
So these are this is supplies. This is not a currency.
This was live.
Are you sure?
From Baghdad over 30 years ago.
And you can drop it on the ground, and this will rearm, repair your vehicles to avoid.
You got Baghdad Sea Whiz firing off on cruise missiles coming in.
Like what happened if you
Holy
get
hell.
damaged? So you have two choices. Well, three actually. You can send it forward, sacrifice it, but it's not very efficient. You can bring it backward a bit. Resupply it, give it back ammunition.
If I play more ads, will that increase the quality?
Reinforce the squad in the case of infantry. Or you can totally send it back to base, like we showed with the planes and with the helicopters, where you send back the.
They've gone completely over time with this presentation, but I guess it was because of the technical issues they had on Twitch.
Of fuel for the planes.
Sounds great.
By the way, only planes have fuel. It's not really interesting on vehicles and helicopters to have them run out of fuel in the middle of the battle.
Yeah, I guess with land vehicles, it's more like it becomes an issue at the operational level for longer actions.
Only planes really can run out of fuel quite rapidly. Actually, if you take.
That's cool though. They took the shopping mall and troops are pushing forward. I mean, this is great. I love seeing it.
But it's really
this style of gameplay feels a little slower. There's a lot going on, but it's taking time to capture these positions, which
so maybe you can have some
means the troops are pushing forward with with caution.
Set in World War II.
Yeah. And
when the plane runs out of fuel and then it just floats. Anyway,
I don't remember the scene exactly.
Okay.
I remember there is a pilot that is getting rescued by a ship, so he must go down at some point.
Yeah.
I thought it was shot down, but yeah. Maybe.
Oh, cool. If aircraft get shot down, the pilots can live. Cool.
So yeah, and an interesting thing I didn't mention is since we're talking about supplies, that units can have critical effects. So it's vehicles actually. So there are 4 types of critical effects that are reducing the efficiency of your vehicle when you're getting hit. So it can be the observation part, so the optics. So you won't see the enemy as good or at all if your optics are destroyed. There is the targeting mechanics, so something like the gunner optics, something like that will make you shoot much less accurately. There is also the reloading mechanism that can be damaged, and so you reload slower. And the final one is the mobility, so you can get track damage or an engine destroyed. So there are always 2 levels. On the you can see in the middle there is a vehicle full of critical effects. Oh, it's dead now. Problem solved, I guess.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
And a little blue on blue with the helicopter and shooting the rockets in the building here. So we had a helicopter strafing to the left while shooting at the enemy, and the building passes in the way, and the final rockets are hitting the building with a bit of dispersion, and it's sadly the Marines in the building that took it in the face. Oh yeah. So yeah, critical effects, they are removed by the supplies. So you put your units in the range of the supplies to remove the critical effect, or in the case of a unit that has mobility critical, maybe it's more interesting to bring the supplies to the unit rather than the unit to the supply.
True.
It could take less time.
I was seeing another landing there on the beach.
Yep. So final part of the.
Will this game allow for you to deploy drones? Good question. I've not seen drones yet.
Crossroads leading to the tip of the peninsula have been taken. So this is triggering the reaction of the enemy to fall back from one side, try to pierce the blockade on the other. So here you're between the hammer and anvil, and you must defend from both sides. A second wave of reinforcement is coming with the LCAC that have made the way back. And so, yeah, a bit of a stressful moment. Lav AD, like the entire defense, being shot by enemy tanks. So we call the airstrike as a support. These are Harriers equipped with Hydra rockets. So once again, you can see the ergonomics of the stuff. You click, you drag and drop, and the plane will do all the rest. He will align with the strike, shoot. Like here, it's a very long distance that has been made because the tanks are on the move, so you don't really know where they will be when the plane arrives. So it's better shoot on a larger area to be sure to get maybe not a destruction, but at least some suppression. And here the plan, because we discussed about what was happening. The plan is like, okay, let's suppress the tanks with the enemy tanks with the planes. And once they're suppressed, let's send the tank.
They need to send this out.
That we can see in the middle of the screen to finish them.
I hope Slitherine puts this video up on their YouTube channel later today. Chad, is there an official YouTube channel for the developer for Broken Arrow?
This one works well.
Or for Broken Arrow itself? Like, do they have a YouTube channel that's an official one for the game?
For a longer time, etc.
I don't know if I've seen one.
You send the Abrams.
They do?
tank.
Okay. Can someone DM me that on the Discord?
Finish move.
I want to see if they upload.
Wrong game.
God, some of that smoke looked beautiful. Even through
really
all this
impressive,
garbage
you know.
pixelation, I can
really
see how beautiful the smoke effects are. That's
I
crazy
would love
cool.
to see the comments in the chat right now. Well, we're going to check them out later, but yeah.
So yeah.
It's looking great.
So that's it. You see, well, the enemy.
Now the enemy's going to
the
counterattack.
The enemy counteroffensive has been repulsed. The enemy.
But they tried to recapture the mall and the other stuff. But
congratulations, Commander.
All right, so this was simply amazing, Felix. Really mind-blowing. For all of you who might have joined late for the stream or who might not have seen the Marines trailer that we showed at the beginning of the stream, no worries. We're going to put everything on YouTube. We're going to put everything on the Steam page. We're going to put everything on Discord. So no worries. You're going to be able to catch up.
This will all be on their Discord.
It's been a
all
long stream. And we
showed a lot, but want to download that footage.
Yes, some things.
That's going to be a video tomorrow. That was beautiful, dude.
Anyway, my point is that there's still a lot to show about Broken Arrow, but this is it. This is it for today because I mean this was just one of the available specializations. There are 7 more. So in the
7 more. So that was just Marines. Marines equipment and Marine
Of course, soon we'll have the Christmas
support
break,
weapons
so
and
the
stuff
team is
they
going
get.
to take the serve break. But I have one last question for you, Felix. How is development going? When can we expect to get the game?
Yeah, it looks like there's
in one way or
8 factions within the 2 main factions.
We will have a much broader audience to test the game. We will see what the response will be. Well, so far the response has always been positive. So we hope it will continue.
That could be
like
18.
that. In the case something is wrong, like maybe optimization
or
some
eight
event
missions.
elements.
I mean,
We
for
will
two
go back to
factions.
the work to improve that. We really want to offer.
I hope we got like 20 missions.
So I wouldn't promise anything.
I love that single player
several
stuff so
months
much.
At least to finish
Loot Goblin
to
it.
finish the game. Generally, well, you will see it when it's come closer to release. There will be more stuff to show. Everything will go.
Well, it's looking good for like one main mission. It's looking good.
All right,
so it's planned for 2023. We are keeping us a margin to make sure that we release a good game, and it's really no use to give a date if it's to move it or if it's to force us to reach this date and have problems because we do that. So it's better to continue to work at our pace, and when it's really ready, we will have really a heavy hitter and something really good.
Oh yeah.
If you liked what you've seen, you will like the game. That's for sure.
That's awesome. So, of course,
this game's going to be
if you want to know
big.
more about Broken Arrow, just follow us on Steam, just follow us on our social media, and please join the Discord channel. We'll be in touch with more news about Broken Arrow in the near future. So don't go anywhere. The game is getting there, and it's going to be amazing. So thank you a lot, Felix. And I want to go back to Marco and the tea room with Julia. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yep. Uh-oh. Did YouTube's stream go down? Oh my god. All right, well that is it for the game premieres, I think, except okay. All right, apparently their stream ended.
Thank you a lot, Felix. And I want to go back to Marco and the tea room with Julia. Thank you so much.
Auto playing another stream. Wait, is this the end of the stream? Okay, it's the end. It's the end of the stream. All right. Yeah. All right. So they cut off their stream, I guess. They're probably having technical issues on both Twitch and YouTube side. That's quite apparent. After this, there was just going to basically be a wrap up of everything that occurred during this stream, and then also I don't know. Is it still up? I mean, it's not playing for me. Like if I go to the live thing, yeah, no, it ended for me. Oh well. Yeah, their stream went down for me. I don't see anything else there. 4.5 hours. Yeah, it just cut off. I don't know. They're having some issues. Regardless, it was just going to be them returning back to the chairs to thank everybody for watching and checking out all the games. So, all right, I left a link in the description for Slitherine, for their website, where you can sign up for that early testing of Headquarters, World War II, which look good, and then also Broken Arrow looks good. Everything's looking good. There's 90% of everything that they showed I'm interested in trying myself, and I think Broken Arrow and Headquarters World War II are going to be two games that they showed here that I'm definitely going to be covering quite a bit, and then also the Terminator game and the Starship Troopers updates, but more the Stargate stuff that I'm going to check out. But anyway, yeah, so they had some technical issues. That's fine. That sucks, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at Broken Arrow tomorrow. All the footage that we saw today for Broken Arrow, I'm going to put up on the channel in the next, hopefully, 24 hours. So I'll put up a much higher quality video on that Marine Forces. We'll just kind of throw that up and talk about the Marines a bit. But the mission that they showed is super good looking. Like seeing the gameplay and having him explain the special abilities for units and stuff got me hyped. I'm really excited to give it a try. Like, I really hope it's a good game, but I'm really excited to get my hands on it and try it out myself. So, all right, we're going to go live to our next stream right about now. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for Slitherine sponsoring. Again, find them in the description. I'm going to send you guys over to the next stream, and we'll basically start right away. Thanks for watching, guys.